Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lobhon.
Well, hey there, Chief Meteorologist Matt Lopon alongside of meteorologist Gabe Maynard. Northern lights partially visible here across parts of North Mississippi, and we've gotten a couple of pictures in at this point. Listen, let's be crystal clear. I'm going to show you some stuff here with North Mississippi Storm Chasers cameras. And we've got some out there that's some pretty good shots of it at this instant, but your best bet is actually probably going to be with one of these looking out toward the northern sky. That little orangish hue you see there, partially available, but more visible here from our camera in Amory. That's what that reddish glow is that you see there. That is the northern lights visible there in Amory. I think a slightly better shot if I go to southern Monroe County there down toward the Aberdeen area. Let's get the look at that camera shot here. That's the reddish glow. Now listen, it's not going to look great on these cameras because they do not have the same type of picture sort of lens that your phone camera has. But you want to make sure to get that phone camera out. We're going to go outside with it. We're going to look up and we're going to look to the north. You're going to want something with a nice, clear western or the northern perspective to try to get a shot of this. But that's a pretty decent glow, all things considered on that. I'm going to bring our meteorologist, Gabe Maynard, in. Gabe, we'll have you in chroma key on this since we won't deal with any reflection sort of issues related to that. Then I'm going to get a shot here, I think, from up in Tennessee. We got a couple shots coming in here in just a second. But yeah, that's a pretty one so far. Yeah, it's coming quick, isn't it?
It is. I texted Annalise and I was like, hey, you need to go outside. And she said, is it an emergency? I said, yeah, it is. Northern lights in North Mississippi, a rarity and something that we definitely need to all head outside and enjoy. Make sure to take your Mississippi Live weather app with you so you can stay tuned into the stream. But then you get the viewers. Oh my word, that is fantastic. Is that actually out of Oxford?
A lot of that green there is city lights. Let's be clear.
Well, still,
we're looking at the reddish there. Yeah, the reddish hue there. That's in Oxford, even looking over city lights.
Oh, that is so prominent. I see a plane taking off right there. I think it's a plane. That is going to be a great sign if they're going north. That is going to be
can you imagine?
Oh man, I want to be on that plane right now.
Here's what I recommend. Let's cycle through some of these cameras, northward pointed. Again, appreciate the North Mississippi Storm Chasers for this camera network there. We'll just kind of check them out. The Corinth camera is not going to work, but a lot of these other ones will. So we'll kind of see if you get the glow there showing up. And I'm going to see if I can get some pictures in. I'm getting some pictures in like a group chat of weather nerds, parts of the National Weather Network. Boy, okay, I'm going to see if I can get some of these. I'm trying to think of the easiest way to get these onto there.
We're going to have to go with a low light pollution on this. I'm trying to get a good view. See some of those reds there in the distance, not really visible on that camera. There in Clarksdale. Let's jump down here towards Carroll County. This is Greenwood.
Hey, do you have your email open on the BAM computer?
I think so.
Okay. I'm gonna send a couple to that. Double check that. I could talk over this for a second. Make sure your email's open. And I'll let you kind of pull some of these up. One from Oklahoma, another one from Tennessee.
Oh, that's really good on Adaton. If we can look a little bit to the left there.
Yeah, I'm gonna try not to move their cameras because again, they're looking through a tower there. But if it looks like that in person on these cameras, it's probably very, very good to the naked eye out there. This is Adaton looking kind of the northerly direction. Again, you're watching Mississippi Live weather as we are just going to kind of keep poking and prodding some of these northward cameras here. Make sure I'm on the right one of these where I get Mabin to show up like it should. That's showing Adaton again. Hold on, I'm going to fake my way into getting Mabin. Mabin's rural enough that I want to make sure we get one of those cameras. So ignore the fact that we're, again, looking at radar here for a second while I try to pull up a different frame here for MAB. And let's see here. We'll double-click that. Give me a moment for that to populate in here because Mabin's rural enough. Look at that. That was the one that was hiding on us, isn't it? Mabin, look at that reddish color there. There's almost kind of even a little bit of a greenish hue on that. Hold on, I'm going to bring it back up here to where I'm on camera again for a second. We'll let this change behind me again. We can pull up a different one of these. I'm going to pull up one. Give me a moment. Again, as you can hear, all my stuff is kind of blowing up behind the scenes here. So let me get it to where it's at least not binging nonstop. And again, this is a shot there from Mabin, again, of the beautiful kind of red sort of colors showing up as we look toward the north there out of our North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters camera network. Again, this is one of the ways in which this camera network definitely shows out some beautiful colors there this evening.
Hey, Matt, come to me on BAM real quick. I got one out of Waynesboro, Tennessee.
Okay, we'll get that. And again, this is from the,
Pillars.
So So this is, this would be Tennessee Valley weather up there. Ben Luna and the folks, big part of the reason why we're here.
Oh, I think it cut your audio out, Matt.
Yeah,
but
it did. Go ahead and take over for a minute.
Well, it's just basically, this is a little bit more north where we said it would be a little bit more prominent, and prominent it is. Let me pull it back up here with the computer right there behind me. Yeah, there we go. So this is a live stream coming out of Waynesboro, Tennessee, and as you can see, those red hues definitely evident. Some of those pillars there on the right side, this is looking north, so that'd be a little bit more towards the northeast out of Waynesboro. Getting some
I think that's a
greenish-
refraction of the lights below there. I think that's
you're
that's
exactly
what the
right.
arrows are.
Golly.
But still, look at the green toward the horizon.
Yeah.
You have the red and the green as well. That's pretty spectacular.
My word, that is something. Oh, my word. You know, I had my doubts, and I should have never had my doubts. I should have stayed
I
faithful.
had my doubts. That's so have you, hey, real quick, have you heard from Annalise? I'm gonna take over for a second here. I had dinner in the way, so I might eat a little bit of that while we're kind of going back and forth here for a second. But check with her, see what her viewpoint is there back at home real quick, and let me know about that here.
I'll have to see if she can get it. She's at a Boonville basketball game tonight, so I don't know if she'll
that's
be able
not
to
going
step
to
out.
happen. Well, hold on. Then I might head out there, see if I can get a shot of it. You've got that Hascam's website. You can kind of pull them up and plug them a little bit for some of those other ones while you're also looking at what we have there coming up on. And again, we could probably switch back and forth between the two, but I'll kind of pull it back over here to some of the North Mississippi Storm Chasers cameras here for a moment as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to go a little bit more north.
Okay. I'm gonna look back Oxford again because again, comparison on some of this I think is good as well. I'll bring that back up. And this is a reminder of why you want to make sure that you have kind of a good northerly perspective on this here, because you obviously we see the red, but then we also have all these lights in the way, and that'd be my issue if I looked right north outside. I don't know, maybe I'm lying. Give me a second. I'm gonna look north outside. I'll send it back to Gabe here for a second, and who knows? Maybe it's pretty good outside here.
Well, we will see from that here in just a moment. We do have a good view there in Macon. So as far south as Noxubee County, getting some views of those reds there in the distance. I see 12 people watching right now. Wouldn't be surprised if that number went up because that is a great view as far south as Noxubee County. So Matt, if you don't get a shot, honestly, you're just not looking in the right location. I do expect that to be pretty visible. Just got to get over the tree line at that. Ooh, he can't hear me. Remind me in the chat to remind him. We might be able to get that drone up and maybe get a live shot for this. That'd be something to kind of view that. But Waynesboro, oh, you can't beat that shot right there. That is so pink, so red. Great shot out of there. Big thanks to the Tennessee Valley at the weather, just with what they have up there with a great shot. Of course, looking to the north, that's what you guys need to do to, of course, take this in. But yeah, this is going to be happening. Time frame, don't exactly have one. Did you hear what I said
So
about
Dave Maynard, this is legit. I'm going to bring this in here for a second. I'm on this. I'm going to walk up close to the camera. I took one of those long exposure shots through just the trees outside on the north side of my house. And again, I guess that's not in focus, so that does you no good. But I mean, you can clearly see, I see pink through the trees here on that long exposure. That tells you everything you need to know. This is going to be really visible if you can get a good north perspective on this. So yeah, Northern Lights, full-fledged. Make sure to send those pictures in. Mississippi Live Weather app. We'll show some of those at 10 o'clock. We'd love to see it. But yeah, that's all through the area, Gabe. So I'll send it back to you. I'm going to see if I can run out, take some pictures, and maybe send it back to kind of show you some of those live from out in the field. That sound good?
Well, I was going to say, do you want to take a drone up there?
The drone does not do that well on low light, unfortunately.
Right.
I'll take. I have drone pack up. I'll take it with me. But yeah, I'm gonna go out there, see if we can get some shots. I know I have this spot right north of town. That one there is from Oklahoma, I think. The one I emailed you.
Yes.
That shot is from Mike Collier, Mike Collier Weather in Tulsa, Oklahoma, part of the National Weather Network. Great shot there. Give me a moment before we go. on that computer, you're still logged into the main computer there. Go ahead and switch it back to links for a second. And I will, what I am going to do is I'm going to see if I can pull up another website here that kind of has all the different National Weather Network feeds, and perhaps somebody on there has something else. So I'll send it back to you. Go ahead and head over to the wall. It'll look better on the wall.
Okay. All right, so while he works to get that up, we're still getting a good visual there in Oxford. I want to check the chat and see if anyone's seeing it out and around the area. How far south is it visible? So far, we've seen it reach all the way down into Noxubee County there towards Macon. So, yeah, that's what I mean. Most of us should be getting a visual on this, seeing some in Saltillo. Can't see from Becker. Elena, make sure that you're not in a highly exposed area with light. We want it to be, kind of a rural area, getting a visual on some of those northern lights. So make sure that you're in the right location for that visibility to be as good as it can be. I believe that's Tracy. Yes, in Saltillo. Send a picture to us here at Mississippi Live Weather because, hey, I'm in the studio. I'm not fully relying on you guys for visuals. So go ahead and send those in to us here at Mississippi Live Weather so we can share a little bit of that here on the show. But yeah, an exciting time. I'm going to keep flipping through a few of these cameras. Let's take it back to, well, Tupelo is not going to be a good option because it has as much light as one could want. So let's take it over to, this is Smithville. This isn't going to have the greatest visual. That's looking south. Well, that's why. Let's go ahead and go back there towards Amory. There you go. Those red hues still popping up in the distance. I mean, that is pretty prominent there. So if you're not getting a good visual on this, you are definitely either at the coast or in a light polluted area. Let's go down to Aberdeen as well and see a visual on this. So this is, of course, looking north, and that's where you guys need to look in the horizon to get a good visual on this. A very light hue in Aberdeen, but definitely noticeable there. And I mentioned the Macon camera earlier on. If we go down there towards Macon at the refuge, well, my word, that is a good shot for Noxubee County. My goodness, that's a good shot. So hopefully folks out there are out enjoying this. I'm going to keep flipping through the area. We had Mabin earlier on, and that was definitely a great shot out of there. Yeah, right behind that pole. I'm blocking it just a bit, but that's going to be right behind it right there. And if we look out of, that's out of Addison, my apologies. Let's go down to Mabin. Oh, well, that's Starkville. Oh, my word. I keep looking the wrong one. There we go. Let's take it down to Mabin. Okay. Do I keep clicking the same one? I'm trying to get that one right in between. Okay.
No, Gabe. Hey, Gabe, the issue is I have that programmed wrong. The Mabin button's not working on there. You're clicking Mabin over and over again.
Okay.
It's just Mabin is set to go to Addison, and I got to fix it on there.
Well, sweet. I was going to keep clicking back and forth.
You're not crazy, I promise.
Not crazy in that aspect, but
yeah, exactly.
Then out of Winona, we are getting those red hues, those pink hues there in the distance. So even getting it there in Montgomery County. I see Whitney asking, how can you see them? So the phone is the best way to do it. You go out there and put night mode on, and you're able to kind of filter in some more of that light, meaning those red hues are amplified. So that's the best way to do it, is to go out there and take some night mode pictures, or you can just go outside, and we're seeing it through the camera lens. So that means you guys might be able to see it with your naked eye as well. But yeah, go ahead and go out there and see if you can get that filter going on your phone, or the night mode on your phone, to get a visual on this, because we are seeing a prominent picture out there. I'm going to take it back there towards, I believe it was Amory that had the best one so far. Or it might have been Aberdeen. Golly, I just can't believe how visible it is. Going into tonight, we saw the storm, and it was like, you know what? It's there. It for sure is there. But just how much will we actually be able to see? And so far, it has definitely verified. Still getting a good visual there out of Aberdeen right behind me. And I cannot get over Macon. How it's that far south looking this prominent is just...
Well, I think the important part there, Gabe, is it just, you're far enough out in the country, you're going to be in good shape. It's when you're too close in that we're going to have some issues.
Golly,
when you're in town.
That is such a good look.
Oh man, hold on. Let's see here.
Are you getting some shots out there?
That's what I'm working for right now, is to try to see if we do have, I think, some that have come in here. Let me see if I can kind of check some of those, and I'll see. Yeah. Oh yeah, these are looking good. Okay. Hold on a second. I'll pull one of those up. I'm going to actually pull two of them. Well, first one, let me see if I got the name on it. So this is coming from Carolina, and it is Alyssa. So give me a second here to pull that up here. That would be this one. Hold on. Did I hit the wrong button? Something else is full screen.
Something was clicked.
Yeah, something went full screen. Hold on. I was on the other computer there, and I think hold on. Let me find out what I did. Which of these monitors am I on? I'm on the right one. Oops. I hit, oh man, let's say it's F11. Yeah, there we are. Okay, hold on. And we will go and try that again. It's worth the wait. Oh, come on. Must be smarter than the computer. Give me a second. I want it to be the other Chrome browser. We're going to do... There we go. Like I said, worth the wait. Look at that red glow. Bright, bright red glow. Alyssa using the Mississippi Live Weather app to send in this picture here a couple minutes ago of certainly what it looks like. And that is a pretty amazing shot there of the Northern Lights, that coming from the Carolina community. If you'll go with me here for a second, we can kind of check out a couple others here. This one coming in from, let's see there. I'll pull it up. Give me just a second. This one would be just south of Tupelo, Pat, with the picture here. So let's go ahead and show that one there. Yeah. Oh, you even got the greens showing up on that, Gabe. That looks spectacular. Let me bring your audio in on this. You got some greens showing up on that one.
In an apartment complex, too.
Boy, you know, and then that's not the Christmas lights there showing up top. That's some good colors. I'm going to send it back over to you. It looks like you've got a pretty good look there as well of another shot. And I'll pull up a few pictures here in a second, Gabe. But where are you at there?
Well, so that was Rolling Fork, and then we're jumping back over towards, Rolling Fork. I apologize. I was clicking some things behind the scenes, but even in Rolling Fork, getting some visibility on that pinkish hue on the horizon. So, like I said, if you're in North Mississippi and you're not seeing the lights, then you are not in the right location because it's visible all across North Mississippi as of right now. That geomagnetic storm inching all the way south. Is it visible in Tupelo? For sure it is. And for anyone that is seeing the Northern Lights, use the Mississippi Live Weather app to submit those pictures. We love showcasing that. And of course, you guys are our eyes in the sky. So, hey, you guys are weather watchers. This is a storm. It's a geomagnetic storm, but it's a storm. So we are watching that weather, of course. But some great shots all across.
Oh, some more great ones coming in. People are using the app for sure. So I'm gonna pop up a couple of these. You all right with that?
Yeah, go ahead.
We'll just toss back and forth, and then you'll have to, if you go under frames there, you'll have to take it out of, you'll have to hit the X, take it out of play, and go back to frames, and then you can pull up Maven from there here in a second, Gabe, and then we'll have that locked and loaded, ready to go. But this one coming in, I believe this one's from the Myrtle area. I sent in just a couple minutes ago of some great, great shot there of, again, the bright reds. And again, you want to have the long exposure on the camera there. Sometimes they call it night mode, but great shot of the red there toward the horizon, sent in using the Mississippi Live Weather app. Again, appreciate that one coming in from Myrtle. I believe that one, Jamie with that shot there. And then we have one from up here near Tishomingo County there, taking your Carter's Branch. This is Joy with the shot here of, some bright, bright red, amazing shot, some great colors out there at this point here. So definitely be, having that app ready to go, but some great shots here. The Northern Lights coming in, courtesy of the Mississippi Live Weather app. And honestly, courtesy of you guys for sharing those with us here. So some really, really great shots coming in, and just keep them coming. Love to see this. Look at that, right? Did the kids take off with Miss Dana? Oh no, we need to send them out with Miss Dana and go take a look at it. Let's do that there to make sure they could see it. But yeah, great shots again. Northern Lights, love this. Okay, I'm gonna send it back to Gabe here for a second. I'll re-rack a couple of your photographs, but Gabe, certainly some beautiful shots out there. That doesn't look quite as red though at the moment, right?
That's the fear, is it retreating just a bit. We still have that red on the horizon, so go out there and view it while you can, because these things, while we can time out severe weather with the geomagnetic storm, not exactly something that has a set time frame. So go out and see it while we know it's visible, because you never know when this thing is going to retreat and when that visibility becomes much less, because we remember what Mabon looked like earlier, not getting that same return as of right now. So might be heading a little bit more north. But if you look out there at a few of our other cameras, let me just input a few of those. Primary one we're going to go to is down in Aberdeen. I'm going to pull up right here. Yeah, still getting some of those reds there on the horizon. And same thing around the Amory area. If I pull that up, Monroe County's been popping off with these shots so far this evening. So yeah, still getting a little bit of that reddish pink hue on the horizon. Light, unfortunately, is going to pollute those skies and not going to allow that visibility to be there. So anyone in the chat right now that's saying, you know, I can't see it, well, go to an area that's more rural, that takes you away from the city lights, and it'll get a good visual. But I say that, you know, we had that picture submitted at an apartment complex, and it was pretty visible from there. So light pollution, maybe not affecting everybody like what it's expected to do, but, you know, we also have been talking about this event, how it's more of a pre-dawn is going to be when it peaks. The fact that we're getting it right now, maybe it kind of fluctuates throughout the night, maybe get some more visibility as we head further into the evening. I know I'm going to be sitting outside staring at a sky all night. That's just pretty much what it's come to, and I expect you guys to do the same. Whitney says she has a picture, Matt, if you have any of that in the chat. Carrington, Amory Lock and Dam is beautiful. Send us a picture. Again, picture to prove it. That's going to be what matters. Now, if we'd have known that this event was happening a little bit in advance, we could have done a whole contest of who has the prettiest.
Well, we're already kind of doing that a little bit. Cynthia with some shots here. This from the Ecru area of some of the bright reds. I'm interested to see one of the folks with the National Weather Network up there in Tennessee mentioning they were actually getting some shots where you could kind of see the pillars there near the spot where we had it. And we'll probably, Gabe, go back over to the big monitor here in a second, see if we can pull up. Actually, we can't do that at the same time because I'm on that computer here, so I'd have to do it a different way. So give me just a minute to kind of go through this. And a couple shots here. Let's see if it's the same shot. Yeah, a couple different shots. I think this is Samantha in the Pontotoc area. I'll double check to make sure that name is correct. Give me a moment. I think that is, Suzanne, excuse me. Suzanne in the Pontotoc area. And what I can kind of see on this, I don't know if it's immediately obvious, is you can actually kind of see a little bit of like the verticality on it. So that means the pillars that you can sometimes see. Pretty shot there. And again, appreciate Suzanne for sending in those shots from Pontotoc County. Keep them coming. I'm going to send it now. If you're back there at the main monitor, Gabe, I will go ahead and give that to you for a second. I'll let you kind of pull up. Well, I think we have some that are also kind of coming in on Facebook as well. We have a post up there. I'll see if I can pull that up and we can show that as well. Yeah, actually here we go. So let's see if we can go through some of these. I don't know if it's going to let me go left and right, but
I don't think it will. I think we'll just have to click off and on. That's
fine.
Yeah,
we can. We can do that. Okay, so I'll send that to you here for just a second. I'm going to go take my long exposure camera outside and make sure whether or not we can see it here.
I gotcha. Well, yeah, we'll hold down the fort here. We're going to jump it over to, of course, our computer view. Let me kind of dial it in right here to get a closer view real quick. There we go. Okay, so this was over in Ecru. You can see those reds on the horizon, those pinks. I mean, that is just a vibrant picture there. Same thing over in Aberdeen. It's unfortunately behind that tree line just a bit, but you can definitely see that more evident off there in the distance. So even down there in Aberdeen on the ground, getting a good visual. This, a great shot. I don't know if there's a location attached to that, but the green's evident on that picture, along with the pinks and everything else. Like, that is a great view. I'm curious where that was submitted. This is from Danielle. Danielle, let us know where that was taken at so we can let folks know, because that is a great site. Bubba, I think I saw you in the chat. I think it's the same Bubba submitting this picture right here. A great view of some of those colors on the horizon, just the northern lights able to be seen, and very, very evident, man. This is I'm curious your take on it. You know, pre-dawn was the main time frame with this event. We're getting it right now at 7:50.
There's not necessarily a speed limit. We know for sure at the speed at which it's coming. Sometimes it comes a little faster, some a little slower. I want to show you, I'm going to bring it back here for a second, and I'm going to see if I can force it to maybe zoom in a little bit so that it doesn't go out of focus. So give me a moment to do that. I want to show you the comparison here. Again, I'm showing you my picture, not just to show off what I had at the house. It's certainly not as good as what you probably would have some other spots. I'll see if I got this way zoomed in, and we'll see if I can get it where the lights. And the point of showing you this is that this was my picture. I think that's, yeah, that, hold on. See, now I'll make sure I'm swiping the right direction. Okay, so this was my picture earlier. And then this is my picture now. So you'll notice, yeah, maybe not quite as much pink, but still visible. I would say its position on the horizon is a little bit different. Both those taken outside my house. Again, not nearly as good as what most people sent in or are sending in using the app and other ways. But the point in showing you is, comparatively speaking, still ongoing. So that's a good sign there, Gabe, that things are, still progressing for those folks.
Oh, all right, we're gonna head back over there. Yeah, things are still happening across the area, and that's the key thing with this event, is that we do still have visibility. I'm going to bring it back here because we do still have some great pictures to show off. And as you can see right here, my favorite part is not the lights in this picture, it's the shadow. For some folks out and about, this is Amy in Guntown submitting this picture, and it even looks like a little bit of those pillars off there in the distance, but you notice where they are? The country. The rural area where they're able to get some visibility. So if you are not in those same locations as Amy, well, then you are missing out, because this definitely has some high potential. Red Bay, of course, showcasing that from David. A great shot there of that pink hue off there on the horizon. And if we keep jumping around the area, Elvis Presley Lake, a great view there. Looks like some greens. I'm curious if that's more city light than anything else, but we can definitely know where those lights are being shown. And that's over there on the horizon behind the trees. Grenada getting a good look out there as well, with some of those pink hues off there in the distance right above the tree line. So getting a visual all the way south into Grenada County. Saltillo, this would have been what the Maynard household would be seeing. Those pink hues right there on the right side of your screen, still with that clear night sky. I mean, hey, thank God for a forecast like tonight, because this is what's really allowing that visibility to happen. Boonville, Deanna submitting this picture with some great views there. The tree lines almost having that silhouette almost. That's a great view, just a great shot. I'm trying to go through the area. Pontotoc County. Ooh, man, that's a good view. That even has some pillars as well. So this is a great shot. But again, look at where they are. That's the key to this entire situation. Rihanna there in Pontotoc, out in the country, out in the rural areas, not exposed to that city light. That's going to limit our visibility on this system. Centerville community having a good look out there as well. Even looks like a few pillars happening as well. So this is really starting to amplify just a bit. This was in the last 6 minutes. Nicole in Centerville. Saltillo and Birmingham Ridge, yeah, that's a good look right there. Brittany there in Saltillo getting a good look at those northern lights with a great view on the horizon that doesn't have that tree blocking the view. Matt, I love your pictures. Those trees blocking your view, though, limiting how much you're seeing, but there's some areas that are primed and available for some great shots this evening.
Absolutely, and ready to go. And we're looking at some of those here. I'm pulling up some of them through the Mississippi Live weather app on this end, which means you can still pull up different things on the computer on that end. We're not going to be kind of on top of each other here. So as we do that, just kind of checking our chat here with folks again, looking at things. Everyone's really excited, trying to just kind of look at the right spot there and try to get some. They're mentioned that looks like there's some issues with some visibility in some spots around town. But I'm going to bring it back over here to where I can show kind of the app pictures in-house here. And this shot coming in the last couple minutes here, I'm going to get this right. This is from Hatley, and this is from Harley in the Hatley area. Some of the beautiful kind of pinkish sort of colors there. And, of course, all the stars showing up in the sky there. Now, I'll say this, checking out our camera from the Hatley area does not have the same visibility because Amory pretty close by there. I just showed maybe just the littlest bit of pink. Of course, we do look north over the city lights of Amory there, so no shock that perhaps that doesn't look quite as good. Let's check out Smithville here. And again, a little bit of a pinkish glow there showing up in Smithville. These cameras are not going to do as good a job as your iPhone or Android camera is, because again, this is a video camera. If you try to take a video of it, it just doesn't look very good. But when you look at pictures, it does a much, much better job of that, which is the reason we're trying to show so many of your pictures here. From the Hamilton area, another example of one of those here. This is coming in from Tammy. I think she was mentioned a minute ago. They're in the Hamilton area. And let's see here, pull that up. And so here's the great shot there from Hamilton. Again, you'll also notice also visible in this shot, you have all the stars showing up. That tells you it's a long exposure. The trees don't look that bright. That's just light coming probably from over top of the house. I mean, you can see the shape of the house there, even looking back toward the trees. So if you're expecting it to look like this when you go out and look with your eyes, it is not going to look as good as that makes it look, unfortunately. It'd be amazing if it did, but that's just not really the way this ends up working out, unfortunately, there. Now, what I do want to kind of bring up here for a moment, again, when we look at this, the Northern Lights, obviously a very cool feature. We're going to keep featuring some of your pictures on this, but I did want to kind of talk a little bit about part of the reason we get different shapes related to this here. So again, we're talking about the auroras. The shape depends on the viewing position, and again, it's interacting with the Earth's magnetic field, which is obviously very, very high up in the atmosphere, and it gets excited by the particles that are moving through related to this there. I'm going to go back a couple of frames here. So again, we have that one, and talking a little bit about the colors here for a moment. It has a lot to do with what it's interacting with there, right? So the oxygen, when that is excited, the oxygen molecules by the energy, as you could see there, hitting it, that's when you get more of your reds and greens. So we know based on the fact that we're getting kind of the reds and greens, that's the oxygen molecules that are being excited by the energy hitting them by basically the solar wind carrying these charged particles into our upper atmosphere. And so definitely some cool shots there. And that's part of the reason, Gabe, why we're just so kind of excited to see some of these, is because the actual atmosphere itself is excited by what's going on out there. I know it's different type of excitement, I guess, Gabe, but it's still kind of cool nonetheless.
It's that typical Office meme where it's like, it's happening. Yeah, that's us right now. So, yeah, I mean, just reality. Like, it's here, it's present. Go out there and enjoy it. I mean, as much as I love, oh, I'm losing my voice over it. I'm so excited. But as much as I love folks joining us on the stream, that's why we're mobile. Take us outside so you guys can watch us as well as watch
and in those pictures once you're there, right?
Exactly. Hey, the app does everything you need, and we're able to showcase those pictures. I know we're showcasing a lot right now, but even at 10 o'clock, I'm sure there'll be about 30 more pictures that we'll try and showcase. That we do have a shot up there in Corinth, this from Pat, and you can see that the further north you go, the better shot as well. Working to get a shot behind the scenes from Nebraska. One of our viewers has their parents up there. I'm trying to get access to those pictures, but let me tell you, it's quite a sight. I'm going to try to work behind the scenes to get that pulled up. But Corinth already showing off with some of those. They almost look like pillars just a bit, but my word, that is just a great sight with some vibrant colors. As we keep going through the comments, which seem to be a hot spot for some of those Northern Lights pictures. We do see, I believe that Chalabit there, Keith submitting this picture with some of those pinks on the horizon. No, that is not a shooting star. It might have been some movement on the picture. Do what? Calebiate. So not what I said at all. Then, yeah, just another great shot. Let's keep going. More hours, go ahead and go vote on Matt LaPon's Facebook page. Maybe we'll head out there to see Okolona take you guys on, but a great shot out there tonight. If only this was Friday night, that'd be a legendary football game. The Northern Light game, the Northern Light fight. Ooh, man, we're going to cook with some names. Calhoun County, haven't got a picture from you guys just yet, but this is a great shot there in the distance with some of those Northern Lights on the right side of your screen. Probably going to be close to, I think that's Calhoun City there on the left. That might be exposing some lights there that are limiting the view that we see, but definitely the north side right there, a great shot. And favorite part, once again, the people viewing it. Northern Lights are bringing the community together for sure, even late at night to view something that is a rarity here in North Mississippi. DeSoto County, great shot from you guys up there around the Memphis area. You can see Veterans Day still today with the Northern Lights. Can we have a more action-packed day? I don't think so. So a great shot there. That was submitted from April. As we take a look throughout the area, Okolona definitely having some good shots as well. I apologize. That looked like a Christmas light. And I was going to say, 'tis the season. You know what? 'Tis the season either way, Christmas light or not. Oh, that's a good one from Pittsboro. A little bit blurry there from Julianne, but still a great shot. You get the picture for sure with those pinks all the way up in the sky. So a little bit more able to be seen out there towards Pittsboro. A big thank you to Julianne. I'm just scrolling through. Everyone's getting a good shot of this. Randolph, Mississippi. Another good look there from Frida. And that's right off of a body of water as well. So, woo, some great shots, Matt. I mean, definitely something that if folks need to go out and see it. I'm curious how evident it is right now. We probably need to do a scan around whenever it comes to our cameras across the area to maybe see how that visibility is still being impacted. Might be more at this point, but haven't checked in about 15 minutes or so. So definitely something to take a peek at.
Well, I'm gonna bring it back here for a second, and it's gonna kind of pop back and forth on me. So give me a second while it changes my background, then I force it to come back here because typically I don't show the pics from home. But appreciate everybody for sharing yours. This was from Wayne in Lake Guntersville over there in Alabama, showing kind of the stretch of Mississippi live weather. Appreciate him for sending in the shot there. Again, kind of that orangish sort of glow. And then tons of great pictures coming up here from, I think, around Sardis Lake. Some shots here, again, looking with some of the high, thin clouds also visible there. I'm assuming that's the high, thin cloud cover with that. There's not a ton of clouds, but that's what I'm assuming we're kind of getting there. But then there's a lot of movement in what I'm seeing there. And I also definitely have some, I went past it there for a second, some pillars showing up with that as well. Really, really, really cool shot there. Again, this is another one here. Whoa, this is another one from Alan there in Sardis Lake. Okay, so just look at these for a second. No, I mean, just that's a lot of variation there between that shot and that shot. We kind of sometimes think of these as a static thing. They just kind of look like they look and that's it. But this is a reminder that they almost kind of look, they're not clearly not an actual living, breathing thing, but they almost kind of look like a living, breathing thing almost as they evolve over time. Beautiful shot there. I'm gonna have to put my thing back on silent. It is on silent, but it's busting through my do not disturb on that, Gabe. So, I mean, some really great shots. I'm gonna keep on working on trying to get more of these on camera here, and you keep working through what we got there on Facebook, right?
Well, I'm actually going to try and post a picture to, actually, I think I can pull it up right here behind the scenes. Bear with me for one moment. We got a shot out of, oh, the stream pulled up, LOL. I'm going to pull that up behind the scenes real quick, and I'm going to work my way over to this picture behind the scenes here real quick. This was submitted from Nebraska, so a little bit more north. This was from Christy, and when I tell you evident pillars, evident greens, evident pinks, everything you need for sure. So this was out of Nebraska, as you get a visual right there, and we're just going to scroll through a few of these pictures that were submitted. As you can see, those pillars very evident. You do have that greenish hue there at the top of your screen with those pinks very evident as well. I mean, just a great shot for sure. And those pillars right there in the middle of the screen are able to be seen. So the further north you go, the more evident that is. But my word, it's just such a cool event. Matt, I mean, I'm sure your folks up in Kansas are probably getting a good look at this as well. So hopefully they're getting some pictures, maybe submitting it on the Mississippi Live Weather app here soon. But we just appreciate everyone submitting that. And of course, keeping us informed with all things weather here in North Mississippi, whether weather be geomagnetic storms or be actual severe storms. So this was also a few photos submitted around the area, just some great shots of that reddish pink hue on the horizon. This was a great look out there in North Mississippi this evening, and some folks that were just submitting those pictures on Facebook and even getting a little bit of that hint right there of that pink hue. But Matt, I'm sure you're getting some pictures on your end that you want to show off. I'm just overwhelmed at the colors and the pillars, the greens, just everything. It's incredible.
I'm so happy. So last time we had one of these, the opposite thing happened for the Law Pond group. Whereas I was able to kind of go out and look and take it all in, and my significant other did not. The opposite has happened tonight where my significant other is able to go out there. For whatever reason, this is not wanting to let me switch between that. Let's try this again, see if that'll work. There we go. For whatever reason, my little switcher back here at the house is unhappy, and that's okay. That happens from time to time. But again, I'm going to show you a picture of a picture. I can show you, it's funny that I can show you guys your pictures easy on camera. I don't have a good way to show you my pictures, but nice shots there from my kids sending in some pictures there. Oh, no, look at that, Gabe. Oh, you can't tell on TV because it's chroma keyed out. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, because I'm in front of a green wall. But that's clearly where the green would be coming through on that there. They've got a good show. Man, I'm not saying shut this off and go outside. But I am saying if it takes me shutting it off to make you go outside, then that's what I'm going to have to do. Go outside and take this in. This is awesome. I might have to anyway, we're excited about that. So many great pictures. You know, folks are from all across the region continue to send in your weather photographs. I say weather photographs, but ultimately these are just photographs of the northern lights from all across the area. This one from Boonville coming in. Anel sending us this shot here in the last couple of minutes, again, of kind of that reddish hue. I'm in front of it once again, perfectly positioned there. And so it will always look better on cameras than it does to the naked eye. So keep that in mind. If you're expecting like this giant red, not going to happen. But if you're okay with the fact that if you hold it, you're going to be like, whoa, that looks really good on your phone. You look up and you still kind of see it. That's what you should expect out of this, okay? I don't want to oversell what we've got here, but because, you know, certainly it is pretty and beautiful, but it might not be quite as striking as, you know, if you're expecting bright red. So I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon alongside our meteorologist Gabe Maynor. We are looking at a bunch of cameras looking for the northern lights as we look out of our camera here in Pontotoc, provided by the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. You will notice a reddish hue, but you won't just see this blast of red. I'm going to check some of the more rural cameras that we do have with the Storm Chasers there to see if we have some shots going out to Clarksdale. I can see more behind me than any other place. Still a little bit of that reddish out there. So if you have missed this opportunity to see the northern lights, a geomagnetic storm, this is one of your better chances still at this time. I'm going to go up north toward Crenshaw. Yeah, still kind of a reddish shot there from both down low and kind of up high on that. And I'm still assuming that those are clouds. I don't want to move the Storm Chasers cameras because it's the North Mississippi Storm Chasers cameras and they're doing time lapses. I'm going to see if I can pull one of those time lapses up actually here in a minute with that. Let's go to Greenwood, which may be down. That camera was, I think that camera's still down. Greenville. Not really good shot there in Greenville. Let's just kind of walk up the line here. I think this one is Cleveland. There's a lot of lights on that camera. We were able to use that. Again, that's in town, so that's probably messing up our view there. And then out there in Shelby, there we go, the reddish behind me. So in the Delta, pretty decent visibility on this as well. One of our best cameras all evening has been down here in Macon looking northward. It's just Macon doesn't have the same kind of light pollution other places have. And again, this does maybe not look super dramatic, but this is about as good as one of these cameras, a video camera is going to get at this. So definitely showing pretty good visibility there as we check out some of the other photographs. Give me a second here. I'm going to check out a few other photographs as I kind of try to check some of them that we've had sent in. Again, ton of them. I got one here, Pittsboro. Amazing shot where you can also see the water tower in this one. Again, this picture coming in from Julie. Appreciate Julie using the Mississippi Live Weather app for submitting this one here. And it also does look a little bit blurry. You think it looked okay? Thumbs up?
Did you see my pictures? I figured it out.
I did see your pictures. They look great. So the kids out there checking this out this evening. And again, bright pink with, again, the northern lights shots there. Hey, Leo, come here real quick for a second. You stand up on there so people see you. What did you think about it?
I couldn't see it with my own eyes.
But you could see it with the camera?
Yeah.
When you hold the camera up. Was it better than last time? Do you remember last time we went in May last year to see it? Was this better or was that better?
This is better.
Don't you dare say that, evil. I'm here. You're kidding me. This is better? But you remember like there were the lines way up there in the sky. This is better?
Yes, it was like pink and blue, and the second or third picture, there was a green streak at the bottom.
I did see that. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm jealous. Okay, I'm gonna double box it. We're gonna go back to Gabe here for a second. Gabe, it's not fair. What did the missus say?
Oh, she tried calling me. I think it was about this, so I might have to take that here in a second. But I wanted to show off a few pictures that we did get here in the Facebook comments as well as just on Facebook. So we're going to look on the computer right here. This was out of Bay Springs Marina. So this is New Site, Mississippi, looking north. And as you can see, of course, the water, a very good thing to be on around this time, or around this event, because it has that level horizon rather than it being that tree line that's blocking our view. And so we were able to get a lot of those colors off there in the distance, and even a few greens showing up there well into the Tennessee state line. This is, of course, the Bay Springs Lake, Bay Springs Marina, around that general area. So Megan submitting that picture, and that was as of just a few minutes ago. So if you've not gotten the chance to go get a visual on this, especially if you're up around the Tennessee state line, definitely still recommend to do so, because this is such a fun time. I do want to say Calhoun County, I think we might have seen that picture already. Let me refresh this here real quick, and we're going to put these comments back up. So there we go. Going to go to newest and look at a few of these pictures. So this was Smithville from Darnell. This was a great shot there. Those pinks, of course, on the horizon. This is a very wooded area. That's the unfortunate part when it comes to these rural areas, is that there's usually a lot of trees that are blocking our view. So yeah, that's the cost in the grand scheme of things. Tracy in Saltillo and Guntown. Oh my word, I wish Annalise was home right now. I'd have her take a picture so fast, because you see those reds, those pinks, the greens. Yeah, this is right on the northwest side of Lee County. So if you're one of my neighbors, go outside. Send me a picture, please. I need to see what it's like over close to the Manor household. Montpelier, this is from Sophie. Still a great shot there. Some cloud cover that's mixing in just a bit, but still, it kind of adds to it. Adds to the ambiance for sure. As we keep that going there towards Bigby, you are getting some of that pink hue right there on the distance. And I do want to say, it looks like they might have used night mode to see it, but whenever night mode's happening, if you move too much, then makes for a little bit more of an out of focus picture. But I mean, you get the point that it's just going to be those colors on the horizon. Austin and Kimberly submitting this picture there in, let me see, this is West Point. And so there's Clay County 8 minutes ago. Clay County, that is insane that it's that far south. Houston getting a good look there as well from Elizabeth. Just some great shots on the horizon. I cannot get enough of this. I've been working to see these pictures behind the scenes and get these up, because I just can't get enough of it. Like, it's such a rarity to experience this that you just can't, you have to keep posting, you have to keep taking it in. And we could sit here all night and I would still be at 6 a.m. like, that happened? So
it's beautiful. Yeah, go ahead. Go for it.
I was going to say real quick. So one of our followers did message me saying that, you know, they listened to our advice and went out where there were no lights, and then they were able to get a visual on the northern lights. So if you were sitting there at your house right now wondering why you cannot see it, then you're in the wrong spot. You need to go where there's no lights. You need to go where you can see in that horizon a lot, and then you're able to really get a visual on that. Look towards the north, because these are the northern lights. Makes sense. But make sure to just get away from the lights. That's really the big thing when it comes to this.
Absolutely. I'm going to go through some of these pictures here. I think I found a better way to kind of pop some of these up in order here. So this first one here going to come from Corinth and Pat Howard. Let me double check time here. Yeah, 8:14. So this is hot off the presses here. Let's bring it back in here. And again, we're looking at the camera you see behind me in Macon. What you're looking at is just a reminder that this will not look as impressive to the naked eye as it does the cameras. So when I show you Pat's picture here in a second, keep that in mind. So here's a shot here from Corinth and Pat sitting in this shot. Again, you kind of have that orangish sort of color almost at the horizon there. As we look at this, again, this sent in using the Mississippi Live Weather app, but just an absolutely gorgeous shot. By the way, you might ask, why is the tree lit up? If you have your camera in that long exposure, even a little bit of light will kind of reflect back. And so it's just a reminder that if this is this bright, and the tree definitely wouldn't look like it in person, that's how much this is enhanced by leaving the aperture open, allowing more light in on the different cameras. So these are all pictures coming in. Mississippi Live Weather app will have some of these. Again, this shot here, I missed the person on it. Give me a second. So this info on this from Dancy, Alex and Dancy. We're going to look at that. We'll look at Lexi's after that, and then we'll check out Alicia's. These all coming in just in the last couple of minutes here. So this is Alex there, I think, in Dancy. And you're talking then, what, near Webster County area, essentially, with that. Some beautiful reds showing up. I feel like I'm going to change my screen capture on this a little bit. I think it's a little too close in. So give me just a moment to kind of fix that to where we kind of make sure we catch all the screen on that. There we go, because I was missing kind of the bottom. So let me shrink it in. There we go. That's a little better on that. So there is the shot again from Dancy. If I'm standing on this side, we'll scoot it to that side. There we go. We'll figure this out. And appreciate you for using the Mississippi Live Weather app to share your photograph with us there. Now, this one was the one, this is Tiffany coming in there from Guntown, of some of the, again, purples showing up in the sky from just the sky itself, but then the reddish glow there, almost like fire. Penny, come here for a second. My daughter Penny here. What did you think of it? No, whoa, no, hold on, we'll talk to you in a second. Got to go to links here for a second. Right now, if you're not outside looking at this, you need to. Look at this shot. If this looks like this on this camera, I love me. I love what we do. My daughter's cute. We'll show her in a minute. You need to go outside and check this out. Because if this looks like this on this camera, this looks spectacular outside right now. Okay? So what we're doing is great, but don't miss this. And as much as you might try to take, I learned this with the eclipse a year or so back. You know, we're out there and I'm trying to take a video of the eclipse, and the reality is I should have enjoyed the experience with my family. So as much as you want to do this, make sure whatever you're doing, you're actually enjoying the experience with your family. That's probably infinitely more important. That's what he did. So Drew with Hazcams, the people that work kind of the work behind the scenes to help the North Mississippi Storm Chasers with these cameras, set this to a 1 minute exposure. So that's the reason why it doesn't even look like your lights there that are flashing are going off completely, is because it is keeping it open longer. So you're getting a better shot there because of that longer exposure. Yes, man. So that's just a sign. This looks spectacular, I think, in person. And I am super jealous of you. Penny, okay, back up here again to tell people. So now what did you see and how did it look to you?
To the naked eye, it wasn't very bright, but with the camera, it's very pretty. It was like this light pink splotch in the corner with a little bit of white. But when it came to the camera, it was bright pink with a green spot.
Bright pink with a green spot? Oh,
very pretty.
I'm so jealous.
Now, the naked eye, it didn't look like that, though.
Okay, so it's one of those things you're like looking in the camera going,
it's like,
doing that?
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty when you're looking at the picture. When you're actually trying to see it, it's not that bright or pretty.
Okay.
But it was still very pretty. You still need to get out there and watch it in person.
In person, right? This is great, but like go see it for yourself.
See it for yourself.
Yeah. I appreciate that, Penny. That's good analysis. And again, first person to say you probably need to go in and see it. Explain your hair to me. Is that like a?
They're called heatless curls.
Heatless curls.
Better for your hair.
There we go. Okay. Fashion advice as well here on Mississippi Live Web. I appreciate Kim in New Albany for sending us this picture here. I'm going to bring it back out here to Gabe for a second. I know you got them coming in on Facebook. I'm showing the ones coming in on the app. What do you got?
226 comments, that's what I have. Folks are pouring in pictures right now, just with some great shots across the region. Hang on, I know what's going on. It's a user error right here. I'm gonna have to refresh the page. 226 comments, but I kept seeing the same comment. It's like, what is going on? Well, found out why. So let me go ahead and zoom down right there, and there's 231 in that brief moment. Yeah, Tyler in Starkville. Need I say any more? I mean, that's as beautiful as it gets, with some of those greens even showing up with that long exposure right there on the horizon. I'm curious where in Starkville that's at, but Tyler, great shot right there. If we look over there towards Tremont, ooh, that is a good shot. Look at those vibrant pinks right there, right above that tree line. I love the silhouette of the trees with it. I mean, it just makes it that much cooler. That was Leah there in Tremont submitting that picture. We do have Oxford with the streetlights. Wrap reminder on that. It's this visible with streetlights, and you do have those pinkish red hues on the horizon. I mean, Renee, you could get a better picture with no streetlights, but still the fact you're getting that visible of a view kind of tells the story, right? Kaylee submitting that. I believe this might be Tyler's sister because they're both Gores, and they're both in Starkville. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's what I'm putting two and two together. Detective Gabe is on the case. But some great shots there along, I believe that's a body of water right there on the right side of your screen with those reddish pink hues where the northern lights are showing up there in the distance. So Tyler, Kaylee, great shots. Put your location, I will say, if you are submitting pictures, because some folks submitting pictures and like this one, I want to know where this is at. Danielle submitting this picture. Oh, that is a great shot. Look at how, Matt, you got to get in here on this. I know you're looking at pictures in the background, but just look at that picture. The green's right there on the center of your screen. I think that's the most prominent green that I have seen on the Northern Lights so far this evening. So, Danielle, let us know your secrets. Where are you at? Because we all want to see that same view. If we keep it going, this is Chloe. Chloe, you did not put the location, but I still see what you were seeing with some of those reds right there in the middle of your screen, looking up there towards the north. Did you see it?
Oh, I saw it. I got to show off Penny's picture, though.
Oh, please, please.
I mean, I wouldn't be a good dad if I didn't brag on her for a second. So again, before we go there, and it looks like, I wonder why this is sometimes kicking me out like this. Let me try this again. Let's try that there. Survey says, there we go. I want to show West Point. This is still ongoing. Visibility there from West Point. And I'll go down to Macon again here for a second to show those two for just a moment. So this is not a past tense thing. This is still happening. Pictures still coming in. That's not on as long exposure as what we have down south, but you could still see, again, it's kind of that big red ball from both of those shots there visible. This from Macon, the other one a moment ago from West Point, both looking toward the same feature there in the Northern Lights. Just absolutely gorgeous the way that is glowing. And again, I got to do the proud dad thing here for a moment and show off Penny's picture. I tried showing this a minute ago. Look at that, though. That is she mentioned you had the red, and then we kind of had that strip of green there. Come here for a second. Explain. So just for me, so could you see both of these features yourself?
With the naked eye?
Yeah.
No, I could not. I could see the light pink right here, but it was very, very light. And then when it comes to the green, I couldn't see it.
No, not at all.
It looked like a teeny tiny bit of white.
Okay.
You could hardly see it.
So it looked more like the absence of red than the red itself.
Yes.
Okay.
But the stars were beautiful as well.
I'll bet. It's a nice clear night. We're fortunate here that there's not moon out there tonight really to see, right? I think we're still kind of in the new moon sort of phase, or at least it's off kilter enough. I should know my moon phase, but that's something I've never been great at. Appreciate Penny for sharing that from the Saltillo area. Lexi with this shot, again, also capturing that green. You'll notice also at the top there, you can kind of see what probably was a plane more than a shooting star, maybe a satellite up there. But man, great shot. And by the way, obviously this makes it look like day, but it's amazing, I think, how much better cameras, Gabe, have gotten just in the last year or so. Both those pictures, all the pictures I'm showing are coming in using the Mississippi Live Weather app, which helps us to be able, again, to check out the locations like Lexi's there in Centerville. Beautiful red on that shot there, Gabe. But man, some gorgeous ones. You got more green on the one behind you as well, right?
I mean, I just can't get enough of it. Like, this is just insane that we're still seeing this much Northern Lights showing out at, I think we're an hour and a half into this right now, and the other one lasted 2 to 3 hours. Yes, that big event that we all remember, that was only 2 to 3 hours. So based off that time frame, that means we got about an hour and a half left. So go out there and enjoy it like Penny and Leo are doing right now. So jealous hearing them out and about. But I know it is cold out there. Someone submitted a picture saying, sorry for the photo quality. They were shaking because it was so cold. So bundle up before you head out the door, but Northern Lights will still hopefully be there for you. But gotta do it now. This, a shot out of Myrtle, and this was a great shot there from Emma Grace. You can see the pinks, of course. I mean, that's evident there right in the middle of your screen, but look at the greens that are showing up right there across the center of your screen. That is just a great shot. Some pillars as well. So this is a very evident geomagnetic storm that's taking place right now, allowing for that those Northern Lights to inch further south. We do have it as far south as Winston County, having those pinks show up. So again, I say, and I'll reemphasize it, if you're not seeing it, you are in the wrong spot. So go find a place that has no lights. I'm waiting on a picture from my mother-in-law because last year, whenever we had that big event, her house was the prime location to get the best view on these Northern Lights. So, Miss Holly, waiting on your photo. I'm sitting here scrolling through photos, waiting to see your name pop up. But great shots nonetheless at West Point, having that same look right there from Genesee. That is a good looking sky right there. And I know folks in Clay County are happy to be seeing that. Again, that's Winston, that's Clay County. That's places that normally don't get to experience this because it doesn't usually go that far south. At best, we'll see it right along the Tennessee state line, but that's really best case scenario. We're far past best case scenario. We're at the best scenario. That's seeing all across North Mississippi. Genesee also submitting this picture with looks like some greens right there, right above the tree line. So, Matt, have you gotten enough of it yet? Because I sure haven't. I mean, this is just something that I will continue to soak in well into tomorrow morning as well, as we're just kind of taking each picture in picture by picture. And honestly, I'm curious to see what the Mississippi Live Weather app looks like right now with picture submissions. It's probably just filled to the brim to an
We're at
overwhelming
about
magnitude.
140 in the last few minutes here. 140 pictures, it says, since yesterday at 8:14 p.m. And most of those have come in just the last little bit here. So yeah, they're let's see here. If that's 9:18, let's check the time. 18 ago. At 8:24 was 18 pictures ago. So they're coming in fast and furious, which means ultimately, I think one of the big important things here is people are seeing it, thankfully. That's, in this case, the thing we hate is when we're like, hey, this could happen, and then no one sees it. Well, they're seeing it. Smithville, you're looking at right now, this is kind of the pink. And again, reminder on the expectation level on this, that if you're expecting to see it as bright and crazy as it looks in the pictures, well, that's just not the reality of the situation. Now, that's not to diminish what we're looking at here, which is really pretty incredible stuff. So let's go through some of these pictures here that you're sending in as we kind of prep and check and see around the area. Great shot here. I'm going to have to get the order on this down. So this one coming in from Ashley in Saltillo here. And again, you kind of have that green. I initially thought maybe this was clouds, but maybe some of that's that green showing up. But you've seen on the cameras, right? Just a minute ago, how we talked about there's kind of like that main glowing area. Everybody's luckily kind of seeing the same thing. And one of the cool things about that is when we start talking about like severe weather and stuff, the storm looks different from every spot. But relative to where we're at on Earth, obviously, this is going to look pretty similar. I'm going to get the order here right. This is from north of Canton, way down south there in Canton. Samuel Moffett sending in this picture here. Appreciate that shot as the northern lights down there. And again, not as prevalent, but when you zoom it in there, it's that same kind of ball shape all the way in Canton that they're seeing up in the Tennessee. That's seeing much, much farther north than that. So because it's occurring so high up in the atmosphere, everyone basically has the same perspective on it at this point, which is kind of crazy to think about. Okay, so let's check out some other pictures that you're sending in here in the last couple of minutes. I like this one. Before I click on it, so I'm going to get my order right. This is Kaylee in Fulton. And again, you can see, again, that main ball that we were seeing, but also kind of those other lines that were showing up as well. You could argue they're not quite the true pillars, but a really great shot. And again, you can see we're a long, long ways away from light. None of these trees here in the foreground are lit up at all. So they've done the right thing. They're away from light, and it looks like only a couple lights there around that house. Appreciate Kaylee and Fulton for sharing that picture with us. I'm really interested if that is a high cloud there, or if that is just a little stripe. I'm going to get this order right one of these days. Okay, Joshua in Lafayette County. This shot here, again, I think it's probably zoomed in, and that's probably some of the green that they were seeing there potentially as well, unless we have some really, really high thin clouds. And at night, it's difficult for us to detect those on our different satellite perspectives there. It's possible that maybe that's what we have. Bring it back here to current time and looking out at the camera in Smithville here for a moment. Again, that is really showing up there very, very pronounced as well, kind of on the, I guess, looking toward the northeast. Check out a couple of cameras here. That one, again, what we're doing is we're playing with the exposure length on there to try to get it right. But yeah, that is probably some pillars there kind of showing up. You can see kind of the vertical lines with this. Really, I overshot that there. There we are, about the vertical lines. I have a little delay here on my chroma key at the house, so it takes, I put my hand out and it waits about a second before it gets there. So sometimes I want to point the wrong spot. That's the reason why behind the scenes. Let's check out Adaton here in Oktibbeha County, near the Starkville area. Not quite the same glow as some of the others, but again, maybe not on as long exposure there. I'm going to go down to Macon, which is done so well. Spectacular. Man. Some great... I'm going to step over here farther. Man, God does a good job, doesn't he? Man. Beautiful stuff. Again, appreciate all your photographs. I'm going to show another photo here. I'm going to toss back to Gabe for a second. So this is Catherine in Robs. Catherine in Robs with this shot. Again, this is what it looks like to the naked eye, or to the camera. Well, the camera that's on a longer exposure now. And then here is what it looks like there in the Robs community. And again, you can see again the vertical lines showing up with this. We'll talk a little bit more about how this all happens here in just a moment, but I'm going to send it back to our meteorologist, Gabe Maynor, back there in the studio, because I know that Gabe, obviously just some incredible shots coming in.
I mean, yeah, and that's the thing. I was texting my wife behind the scenes telling her, you need to go see this now because you never know when it's going to go away. She just got out of the game, I think. So I told her, she said, I went outside, I can't see anything.
What they are, right?
Exactly. Well, she said, I can't see anything. And I said, where are you? She said, downtown Boonville. All right, that's where we need to get away from. Let's go over to 45 and then just look north. And then you'll get a great view of it. So folks in Boonville don't need to be in Boonville tonight. Go celebrate that victory all around each other, viewing the Northern Lights, because this is the view that you're missing right now. As you can see, this great shot out there in Mathiston from Brittany. Oh my word. I mean, you get the pinks for sure, but some of those greens even showing up right there in the distance. Just a great view along with that night sky, just adding to it, almost looking like sprinkles on a cupcake with those stars in the sky. But if we look also there around Ripley, I wanted to pull this up, getting a great view there as well. This is going to be on the northern side of our viewing area, so better chance of seeing this take place. Unfortunately, the trees blocking it, also limiting some of the greens that you might be seeing. Boonville, hey, just talked about Boonville. Folks, you need to go ahead and get out there. Is this updating? I think it is. Yes, it is. Right? It is not. Okay, hang on. I'm on the wrong browser. We're going to pull it back over here. Okay, bear with me. We're going to go all the way back over here. Okay.
You want me to take over for a second and kind of talk about how this all happens?
Sure. Yeah, take over.
Okay, so give me a moment here. So let's talk about, what is this? How does this all happen? So we'll kind of bring it back in here to our mobile room-to-room weather center. Talking about the solar wind in this case. You get what's called a coronal mass ejection, where it's just this explosion of particles off of the sun heading toward us. The solar wind, heated and charged particles emitted by the sun that travels through space, right? So in this case, what we're talking about is, again, a big explosion of energy that's carried toward us by the solar wind. So we show that, of course, works toward us. And eventually, and this happens all the time, that energy interacts with the Earth's magnetic field and it protects us from most of those particles emitted by the sun. It just kind of directs them around us in a way that that protects us. And so the magnetic field is hugely important just for the safety of our electric grid, protects, near our satellites, there's some other things like that, and many other things. And so when you get these big explosions, what happens in a solar storm is the sun will emit more charged particles than normal. Typically, it comes from a sunspot, things like that, and just blows our direction. And so as it does, it will, cause the extra particles to, in some cases, reach all the way down to the poles and work and follow those magnetic field lines down in. As that then happens, you get these big charging of particles that then interact with the oxygen and the nitrogen in the Earth's atmosphere. And then you end up getting the beautiful colors that we see from the northern lights, like what we have out there right now. And so when you showed this graphic a little bit ago, when you get the oxygen to be excited by those particles, that's when you get more of the reds and the greens, like what we're seeing here. And that has to do with the atmosphere and how high up it is, and thus allows us to see it farther south in this case here. And so when you get more of the blues and the pinks, that's where the nitrogen is kind of popping up. It's interesting. My daughter mentioned that she saw some of the blues there, and nitrogen is the most prevalent element in the atmosphere. And then you of course have oxygen. So that's the reason why these colors, excited, the ones we get, they make up most of the air that we breathe, nitrogen being the larger percentage of that there. So kind of cool the way this all works. And then we showed this one also a little bit earlier as well. The shapes have to do with the viewing positioning on the Earth. And again, the way in which the magnetic field is being hit by those charged particles there. And so just kind of where that intercepts us. So kind of really cool stuff. Excited that we're able to see that this evening, and thankful that everyone is sharing their weather photographs with us. I say weather photographs because it's a clear night, so I can call it weather all we want to here. And you're watching us on Mississippi Live Weather in Brittany in the Cornerstone or Cornersville community here in Mississippi, with this shot here of some of the northern lights with the backdrop there, or I guess foredrop in this case, of the silo. Great picture there. Appreciate that. Again, the stars will always show very brightly in all these photographs here. You can see more of those vertical lines. This shot coming in from Thomas with the great shot here again. And this is what makes me think we do have some clouds. Okay, so you see we have this little gray there that's kind of cutting our bigger kind of ball of red in half. That's probably the clouds that the light from the northern lights are working toward the camera lens here. And then the clouds are kind of blotting some of that out, scattering that light, and so it never makes it. So that's why it kind of looks like a darker area in the middle. So that's, I think, probably what we're dealing with in the case of that, is probably dealing with a little bit of cloud cover out there. So some of these pictures, I'm like, well, is that clouds or is that an extra little wave there? And looking at that, it's probably clouds that we're contending with in some of those cases. But still having really good visibility from some of our cameras that weren't as good earlier here. I'm going to show you our camera there in the, this would be Pontotoc area. And when Pontotoc's looking this good, it's probably looking a lot better to the naked eye out there. So good visibility this evening in Pontotoc. Current time is 8:38, and appreciate all of y'all there for supporting us. And again, every one of these cameras that I'm showing you tonight comes from the North Mississippi Storm Chasers and Spotters. So again, support that 501c3. Had we not had access to these, we might not have done an effective job alerting you to what was possible to see this evening. Again, some of you probably would have seen it yourselves going out and about. But again, support the North Mississippi Storm Chasers if you can. Certainly, I know they would appreciate it. I'm going to check out our camera. I am going to go to an MDOT camera. We have not hit any of those tonight. I'm going to see if we can capture. This would be the north-facing camera there. Again, it's a black and white camera, unfortunately, but I can still see some brighter spots there. So even though that's not camera, even though that's not color, that definitely is still visible this evening. Here's another shot of, I think, what probably the clouds as well mixing in here. Josh in Tula in Lafayette County sending us this picture using the Mississippi Live weather app. Pull that back up there. And again, we have, I think, this little layer of cloud covering. Now you'll notice this does look different, and this shows us the difference in altitude here, right? The red is going to look the same in every one of these pictures, but then the clouds will look different. So whereas we had a shot a minute ago, we kind of had that line of cloud cover, right? I will bet that shot is farther south than this shot here in Tula. So let me double check. I'm trying to remember where the shot was for the line of clouds a moment ago. So give me a second to go back and find that there. Let's see that. Thomas didn't give his location. No. Making me a liar. Let's see if we have another shot here where yeah, here we go. Okay. So let's see. This one is in Louisville. There you go. Tracy's shot here in Louisville. We'll look at these two back to back for a second. So here is the shot from Tula, which is North Mississippi. Louisville, kind of more north central Mississippi. And notice how that line is kind of horizontal in here. And in this first one up in Tula, it's kind of like it's running through it. So it tells me this layer of clouds is closer to over top of Tula. And so you go farther south, and then that's going to be looking lower. But you'll notice the red is similar position in both cases. So that tells you that you're looking so much higher to see the red up in the atmosphere than where even some mid and high level clouds are showing up on here. So the point at which, of course, this aurora is occurring, obviously very, very high up there. I'm going to bring Gabe back in here again to kind of look at this. But yeah, it is some amazing shots. Oh, you got some green on that one there too as well. And did the wife end up seeing any?
So she was working on it. She texted me. She said, I can't see anything. Why can I never see it? And I said, well, you got to take a picture in order to see it, to really get that visual aid. Our phones are the best tool in these circumstances to really kind of see those northern lights in full action. This was submitted in Blue Springs from Jackie over there in the Blue Springs area. Great shot of those greens along with those pinks and those pillars. I mean, you name it, it has it. It's just a phenomenal picture. I was working behind the scenes to get a few more of your pictures. I think my mouse just died. Oh, wait, no, there it is. Okay, praise God. He intervened. He prevails once again. So I think we're back in action. I just posted it, so let me go to my page here real quick. This was a look in Moscow, Tennessee, and as you can see, some of those greens right there on the base of the horizon, but where it becomes really evident is those pillars right there in the middle of your screen with those pinks really showing up in almost like a pillar-like fashion, and the green right there on the horizon shows you positioning does matter, and if you go a little bit more north, and you'll see a little bit more when it comes to our northern light coverage. We did have those pictures come in from Nebraska earlier on this evening, and we remember just how vibrant that was, and it was just a great shot. Now, you're probably looking behind me and saying, Gabe, what on earth is on the screen behind me? Well, it's actually a drone shot. We were talking about taking our drone up and how it might not have the best visual whenever it comes to it. Well, this will look out of Dorsey tonight, and this was submitted, I believe, let me look back here, by Mark. Yes. Mark submitting this over in the Dorsey area, getting that northern lights right there in the distance, even with those greens. Now you are able to see it on a drone because you're from a higher area or point of view.
Accepted. I'll be back in a minute. I'll get the drone fired up.
That was all he needed, Mark. You just sparked something inside of Matt right now. So we'll see how that goes here in a second. We might be able to do a live shot from it as well. But Mark, I mean, this is a fantastic shot for sure, just showing those northern lights taking place off there in the distance. So I'll say it once again, and then this will be my piece. If you have not gone outside, you are missing out on a very cool phenomena, and one that happens very rarely here in North Mississippi, especially to this magnitude. This is definitely rivaling the one of which we saw last October here in North Mississippi. So, oh my word, so cool to get to see this. So let me pull it back up here. This is going to be those 383 comments right now that you guys are filling into our comments. And it's just some great shots. Once again, of course, down there in Louisville, I think this page needs refresh one more time because I'm looking at some comments that were there when it was 300 comments. We have added like 80 more comments since then. Yeah, math was mathin'. So let's go ahead and pull that up. And of course, we'll have to go to newest real quick. And there we go. So we're getting some new pictures that are filing in. This, of course, from Farmington. They're from Susan. We were talking earlier about some folks that were saying, sorry for the blurriness of the photo. My hands were shaking because they were so cold. Susan, I hope you're not too cold out there, but might have some shaking with the camera. Whenever it comes to that night mode, doesn't take much to kind of shake up that image and not make it as, clear for sure. Patricia on MSU's campus. Frame that and put it in maroon and white. My word, that is a good picture. Right over, trying to see where that is on campus. You'll have to let me know, Patricia, because I have been graduated for far too long. But those pinks, those purples, I mean, all the way down in Oktibbeha County, that is a great shot for sure. So hopefully, folks, students out there, Caleb Edelblut, I'm speaking to you in specific. Go see these lights. We want to see pictures from you here from Oktibbeha County. Hackleburg showcasing that as well with those red hues on the horizon right there. I love the reflection almost on the screen right there because it almost makes it look like it's being amplified even more. But yeah, it's just vibrant colors for sure showing up. The Jacinto area, pillars being seen for sure right there on the horizon with some of those greens as well right there at the base of the horizon. So I keep having to catch my breath because I'm in such awe over these pictures. You guys are doing a phenomenal job with the coverage. Vicky submitting this great photo. I have no idea where from because comments did not have the location included. Please make sure to include that with your comments so we know exactly where you guys are submitting this from. Saltillo, another great shot from Amy over there in Saltillo, close to Eggville. That is just a beautiful pink right there on the horizon. A beautiful shot for sure. One that I'm sure some folks will frame and put on their wall, and that's how just beautiful those night skies are as of right now. I see this is Morris Chapel, Tennessee. Were you looking for green? Morris Chapel is the place to be. Look at the base right there with those greens peeking right over that tree line and pinks right above that. So no matter where you're at or where you're looking in the sky, getting some evidence of those northern lights. This is Alicia. Alicia, I want to say happy 40th birthday. I see that you put that in there. But a great shot right there, and couldn't imagine a better birthday present than northern lights showing up, especially with the pillars in the distance as well. So happy 40th birthday for Mississippi Live Weather. I hope it has been a good one. I know it is ending as a good one for sure. Leandra, that's a great shot. Man, that's a great shot. Look at the green right there at the base. Yeah, you can see that just a bit. The table's not blocking it. The green at the base with those pinks showing up as well. It almost looks like a vertical line right there showing up with those pillars. That is a great shot. I wish we need a location on that for sure because that is a great shot. Oh my word. I'm so excited. Let's keep this going. This was over in Moorville. And that's another great shot right there, showing those pinks as well. That's Victoria out there in Moorville. Pontotoc showing the same thing with some of those pinks and purples on the horizon. I keep looking over because I want to see if Matt's up with the drone because I want to see if we have a shot of the horizon to be able to get a visual. Brandy saying that you can see it without a camera. This was over in Thorne earlier on this evening, about 6 minutes ago. So if you don't have a phone or a camera or you're not in a prime location to get a visual on this, well then let's go ahead and just take a look outside and more than likely you might be getting a visual on what's taking place. Winston County having those pink hues as well. Louisville being mentioned. Oh my word, that's a cool shot right there. As far south as Winston County, that's just insane. for folks down there. Belmont seeing the same thing as well. A very vibrant color there in the distance. Jessica submitting that from Belmont. If we keep it going, Tate County, lots of pinks. That cloud cover is definitely adding something to it. I'm with Matt on that. I think it's cloud cover in this picture, but it's just hard to tell with those greens and those high-end clouds. So it's not exactly going to be, sorry, just lost what I was saying. My word. Miley in Kentucky, right off of the Ohio River, submitting this picture. Look at the greens right there. That's pretty vibrant. That's almost as vibrant as some of our pinks down here in Mississippi, just because it is that far north. That's going to be Bracken County there in Kentucky. That's from Miley. Big thank you for submitting that picture. And hey, we're Mississippi Live Weather, but we will share the love all across the nation. If you have pictures from anywhere in the United States, go ahead and submit that. Hey, anywhere in wherever, submit it. So that's a great shot. Caledonia, this is Cami in Caledonia. I love the alliteration going with it. Cami in Caledonia. That's fitting. But a great shot there of those pinks popping up in the distance. I think there's a dog as well enjoying that. I think it's a dog. Let us know down in the comments. I want to see if Matt has it. I'm just so curious if he ended up getting the drone up working. We can keep it going until then. This is a look in Walnut, Mississippi from James. Same thing, just those pinks popping up in the distance. So cool to see. Kelly Joe submitting this picture with some of those greens, looking like some greens right there on the bottom right side of your screen. At night mode, it gets to be a little bit tricky, you know, especially if you're shaking due to the cold weather. You kind of have that movement with the picture, and then the movement makes it look like the stars are moving too. So yeah, it's unfortunate that the northern lights have to happen when it's freezing cold outside, but hey, we'll take what we can get, right? Let's keep it going. Shannon, that is Ponticola, Mississippi. A great shot there from Allison with that pink right there in the middle of your screen, looking towards the northern horizon. And as we keep it going, I see Potts Camp down there, and Potts Camp looking stellar. Look at those pillars right there in Potts Camp. A great shot right there, showcasing those pillars, showcasing the northern lights. That is a good looking sky so far this evening. That's from Caitlin in Potts Camp. Let's keep it going. Fairview, there's a good look at the purplish pink sky. That is from Tiffany, our weather watchers out there in the field. You can see it with the naked eye right now looking north in Winston County. That's from Heather. If Heather is able to see that with just her plain eye, then go out there and see it. Please, all the way south in Winston County, that means a large portion of us should be able to see that this evening. Hang on one second. Golly, I keep waiting on Matt. Let me take a look over here real quick and see if he is up and running. I'm going to see if that drone is going. He might be snapping video, and if we have video, okay, he's back. Okay, Matt, the golden question, what'd you get?
It's kind of garbage, but I'll pull it up anyway. Let me think. We should be able to. Drone should be under live shot. Yeah, we'll reset the RTMP feed.
Do you still have it up, just floating in the air?
Is there an answer to that? That's the correct answer. So there it is. I hope we don't get like a. Yeah, it's hovering right outside the house, but I'm not seeing anything. I have my son on it at the moment. So yeah, no visibility on that. Unfortunately, I didn't put it in picture mode. So live drone shot at night here from north of Tupelo, but unfortunately, it does not look like that is going to be a whole lot of anything. But yeah, live drone shot at night, so it's not nothing, right?
Yeah, you get to see the skylights of, let's see, would that be Saltillo?
Saltillo.
Yeah,
Saltillo.
Maynard stomping grounds right there.
Yep.
But cool shot. Well, thank you, Matt, for going and trying that. Hey, it's worth a shot. You know, if we never would have tried, we never would have known what we would have missed out on. So it's worth the shot always.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, let me see if they'll let me send it back to you. Going through those weather pictures here for a moment. I see it switch behind you. Come on, send it back to Gabe. You know you want to.
It's missed you so much that you have to stay. Oh, I guess not. I guess it was ready. This is from Blue Springs there from Janice. A cool shot right there. I think that, am I able to zoom in? I don't think. Let me see if I'm able to zoom in on this. I'm going to zoom it back out here in a second. But Janice submitting this picture. You can see the greens right there on the right side of your screen. The left side is just pinks showing up. That is a great shot from Janice in Blue Springs. I'm seeing a lot of shots from Blue Springs showing up tonight that are not blue. No, they are pink. They're green. They're pillars. They're anything and everything. So if you are in Blue Springs and not outside right now, you are missing out on quite a show. Jeremy submitting this picture as well. Don't know the location. That's the unfortunate part about it, but go ahead and submit your pictures with the location so we know where exactly those photos are submitted at. So folks know where to go because we want to know where the Northern Lights are still able to be seen from. Senatobia submitted by Mandy. That was a great shot there with some of those pink hues showing up in the distance. Looks like it does have some lights right there that are impacting how much visibility we are getting. But nonetheless, even with the lights, definitely getting some pink hues. Okay, we have some good pictures coming up. This is submitted from Steve. You can see the pillars right there in the middle of your screen right there. A great shot. I don't know the location, unfortunately, but Steve, shout out. That is a good picture right there, getting the orientation of those Northern Lights. This one from, oh, it's Ryan's well. It's Steve in both pictures. Well, that makes sense why it's such a good picture then. Look at those pillars. That is as vibrant a pillar as I think we have had all night out of Ryan's well. So shout out Steve, doing the Lord's work right here, submitting those pictures, letting us see it. Please do not turn off. No, we do not need that at all. We want to stay alert and awake because this is such a cool show going on across North Mississippi right now. Keep those pictures coming in here to Mississippi Live Weather. You can do so through the Facebook comments or you can do so through the Mississippi Live Weather app. That is the recommended method if you are to submit any pictures because that kind of is the best way to just directly pull it and put it on air. So if you have not done so, go ahead and do so because I know you have a picture that we want to see and I want to see it. So let us know there on the Mississippi Live Weather app. Matt will have those pictures here in just a moment. I want you to know we looked through pictures for about 10 minutes. The comments have gone up 80. So let's keep it going. That's what tonight is all about, right? So let's keep it going with Ingomar. We're going to start out there. A great shot there. So Matt, what was the final deduction on this? Is it a cloud? Is it green from the lights? I think it's still some high-based clouds whenever we're looking at the grand scheme of things whenever it comes to these pictures. But yeah, if you're still on, which looking behind the scenes, I don't think he is. Remind me in chat for to ask that question, but I still think it's some high-based clouds that are kind of infiltrating that sky just a bit and adding to it, in my opinion. I mean, look at how wispy that is with those red and pink colors. Great shot there tonight, and we're going to keep that coverage going with Manatee. Some of those greens showing up right there at the base, all the way in Manatee. That is just so cool to me that it's reaching as far south as Mississippi this evening. We keep it going with Paris, Mississippi. Great shot there. Some of those pinks right there from Jennifer. I don't know if I said names on that Manatee one. That was Nikki, and Ingomar was Jackson. Big thanks to everybody for submitting those pictures. Kimberly in Brewston, Tennessee. Cool shot right there. Don't really know what the blue is. Hopefully it's not police lights, but kind of adds to the ambiance just a bit. I'm not going to lie. With those pink and red hues on the horizon. New Albany, 10-minute exposure. That's a cool looking shot right there. I don't know, 10-minute exposure, Candace. How did you keep it that steady for so long? My hands.
You put it on a tripod. We're just to the point where we don't do that kind of stuff. Where we don't put it on a tripod there. But yeah,
I don't know if I'm patient though for 10 minutes.
I don't know if I am either, but I think some folks out there probably are. You know, I'm actually getting a decent shot, believe it or not, out of Greenville tonight as well. We've had from time to time. Let's see if the latest shot here. Not quite as good as it was just a couple minutes ago. Let me hit refresh. Ooh, I'd say that's the case on most of them at this point. Doesn't look like they're quite as good as even a couple minutes ago. Let's go down and look at Macon, which has been consistently one of our best spots. Not quite, still there, but not quite as impressive as it was. Unfortunately, we might be a little past the peak on that one. Let's look some of the pictures you guys have been sending in using the Mississippi Live weather app. I'm going to go ahead and kind of swing this back over here into our mobile studio. You can see there again, Macon. I still show some little blurbs of red, but this is not what it was even 20 minutes ago. So, hey, maybe that's the reason we couldn't see it using the live drone a second ago, is maybe it's just not as bright as it was a few minutes ago. But those pictures still coming in. 215 y'all have sent in so far here, and let's go through some of those pictures again. Appreciate this shot here coming in from Blue Springs. Kylie Sending in, again, not quite as bright on the shot here as it was a little bit ago. This looking in Blue Springs, really not that far away from my location back to the west. And appreciate Kylie for that great picture. Again, more of kind of a muted hue on this one. Give me a moment to get the name on that. This is Colleen there from this evening cord, that more that muted sort of look as it's fading somewhat, unfortunately. But it's been beautiful to see your pictures all coming in on these. This shot here, this from New Albany. Ben sending us this picture here from New Albany. Again, you can see, Mantachie, some good shots, yeah. So is that present right now, or is that a few minutes ago? Oh, just a second ago? Okay, so still looking pretty good in Mantachie then. Savannah with a shot here behind the scenes. And again, you can see some of the great, it looks so bright here because cameras are so good at low light anymore, which is just mind-blowing to a certain extent, just how good they've gotten there. I'm closing some of the old pictures, so I apologize. That's going to kind of zip past some of those. Just had so many of those in our list. You guys have been so excellent about sending some of those in. Oh, we haven't had I don't know if I missed you a minute ago, but Aiden here with our first Northern Lights selfie. So apparently at least that side of the camera in this case here, Aiden was able to get that shot. We also got the American flag on this Veterans Day. And again, thank you so much for the veterans who have served this country. We appreciate you doing something that, again, our meteorologist Gabe Maynor and myself, that we have never served. I've had family members that have not immediate family members, but grandparents, uncles. It's a service that the entire family is a part of, obviously, and I mean that the immediate family. It affects spouses and children, and you do that for this country. And just thank you so much for choosing that life and choosing to save all of us. And protect us. Sini there in Pontotoc, again, with a shot, looks a lot less pronounced just in the last few minutes. Of course, we might be on the right side of town. We're getting some light pollution on that, but that's obviously not as bright as some of our pictures were even just a couple minutes ago. That combination of the cloud there, Blue Springs, Birmingham Ridge, Will Palmer, with this shot here. Again, the bright red, this, I can tell you just based on what we're looking on cameras and some of the pictures coming in, this is probably about 15, 20 minutes ago when this picture was taken. Again, there's that little layer of clouds that kind of went in front of the bright red as that was flaring up just a little bit ago. Again, appreciate all these pictures coming in using the Mississippi Live Weather app. Again, some shots here. Again, beautiful silhouettes. Lindsay with this shot. Some of the green still showing up. That actually might be the point where we've lost enough of the brightness that's the Milky Way actually showing up there. And then, of course, the bright red with the silhouette there in the foreground. Appreciate Lindsay for sharing your photograph with us. And I'll be perfectly clear, our meteorologist Gabe Maynor and I are kind of living this vicariously through all of you that are kind of out there in the field taking these pictures because, unfortunately, we are not seeing them in first person. This shot here coming in from Ripley, Shelby, with this picture here. I believe the same picture as I clicked on a second ago. Shelby with this cool shot there from the Ripley area of, again, kind of the Northern Lights, a little bit of light pollution there. Maybe actually that might have been that little bit of green that showed up from time to time as we've kind of reached the peak, maybe coming back down on the other side on this geomagnetic storm. And Gabe, I'm bringing you back in. What I'm going to look at here behind the scenes in a second is I'm going to check and see on the space weather side if we can kind of see how things, if they're ramping down outside of just what we're looking at the pictures. Because actually, before we go, you can see Macon behind me looks a little better than it did a minute ago. So this does come in waves because, again, when you get one of these, some of the particles arrive, a little more quickly than others. I'm going to see if we can get some additional information on this. We'll have that for you here in a second, Gabe.
Perfect. Well, we're going to continue to take looks across North Mississippi as we get into the area tonight. One of those, this was just kind of funny to me. I wanted to showcase, of course, in Ripley, you are getting those pink hues in the distance, but we've been talking about greens on the horizon. How about greens literally on the horizon, but it does look like it's a floodlight from the house. Still just funny, we're talking about those pinks and greens. Well, how about a literal green yard, green driveway there in Ripley? That was submitted by Haley. So big thank you to Haley for submitting those pictures. I had to go get a sip of water a second ago because we've been talking about Northern Lights so much. my throat was starting to get a little bit dry. Colleen submitting this picture with a great view right there. I don't know if that's a city in the middle, but getting those at least differentiation in some colors, but those vibrant pinks that are showing up, that is just a sight to see for sure. So hopefully you guys got to see it. I hope it's not on the downward swing, but of course all good things must come to an end. But let's hope that end is not now. Seymour, Missouri. Oh, that's a good shot. Look at how high in the sky those northern lights go. Don't tell Matt I'm using a Missouri picture. Don't tell him. But this is a great shot right there with some of those pillars right there on the top part of the sky. Those branch all the way down into the horizon. That is such a cool shot. If that was like that red kind of canvassing the sky down here, that would definitely be a sight. But we will take what we can get for sure. Noxubee County. Good looking sky out there. From Amy, you can see it mixing in with the clouds there in the sky, so it is a good looking sky nonetheless with the silhouette of the trees right there on the horizon. Louisville still showing a little bit of coverage right there. So we have Noxubee County, we have Winston County, we've had Clay County. I haven't seen any Atala County. I'm curious for folks down in Kosciuszko if they're getting anything. Visible to the naked eye in central Mississippi. That is from Debbie. I don't know the exact location, but still pretty cool. Central Mississippi, that's further south. That could be close to about Kemper County, just a few counties south of where our viewing or our coverage area is. Yakima, Mississippi. This is from Paula. Cool looking shot right there with the northern lights right there in the middle of the screen. You can see trees. Yeah, trees are dying. Don't talk about my tomato plant. Who knows what that silhouette would look like with the northern lights. Am I bitter? A tad bit. I miss those tomatoes. Thaxton from Mandy. Oh, that's some cool looking greens right there with the reddish hue right there on the right side of your screen. With the clouds too, those high-end clouds that you can really see those more apparent this evening because of those northern lights kind of acting as a contrast to it behind it. Caleb submitting this one in Grenada. That's a good looking shot right there. That is man, that's a good looking shot. Look at those greens right there on the right side of your screen along with that pink just mixing in perfectly together. And we are getting a good look. That was over 13 minutes ago. So like I said, or like Matt was saying, some things, it seems like it might be trending on the downward side of things. Let's go ahead and go, I'm going to refresh it real quick. And we're going to look at the latest pictures to kind of see how they've trended. Let me go down here. 549 comments. Shout out to all of you guys for keeping us weather aware. Hey, on severe weather days, I expect the same amount of coverage, right, Matt? We need the same amount of weather.
It's not going down, it's coming back. So we have a substorm kind of ramping up here. I'm going to see if we can get Adrian with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers on. He's kind of, I don't know if I want to say the expert, but he's kind of the expert that they have on this. And he's probably a little bit, this is his thing that he nerds out about weather stuff, but he nerds out about this as well. So I'm going to see if I can get him on here in just a minute. To talk a little bit more about that. So, but I will say this, with Macon ramping back up, that's a sign. I mean, even the time you and I have been talking the last minute or so, that's gotten a little bit brighter. So we're not done yet, Gabe.
That's music to my ears, Matt. Thank you so much. So folks that are still wanting to go out and see it, Annalise Maynard talking to you, go out and see it, have that long exposure on those cameras and you'll get a real good look at that. But you never know when it will end. But hopefully that end keeps getting pushed further and further back, and excited to hear what Adrian has to say because they've been talking about it in chat. And as much as, you know, we are meteorologists, I want to say that, you know, our astrology knowledge, or at least mine, not as high as my meteorology knowledge. So still learning about that as each event comes and goes, but this is such a cool event.
Astronomy, not astrology.
There you go. Evidence right there. Well, yeah, so there you go. Evidence right there in front of your face that I am learning as we go. So we'll remember that for our next event. Tammy submitting this picture with some greens right there. This is 1 minute ago. I'm curious where this was at because it looks like that's a pretty good view. And I'm curious if that's still in case. Ackerman, Mississippi, that was Belinda submitting this picture, still with those pinks right there on the horizon, well built into the sky. And if we keep going down, I mean, it's just picture after picture. You can see it right there on the screen. Iuka, that's a great shot. Very vibrant colors. That is almost bright to where you need some sunglasses to see that. That's from Richie in Iuka. That, of course, on the northern side of the state, so it is going to be a little bit more vibrant, but still getting those pictures all across the area. Aubrey, I see that you are driving. I hope that you stop to take this picture, but a good-looking sky right there. I'm curious what it looks like to the naked eye. I might take a step outside. I might here in a second because I'm curious how it looks. Colbert County, they're in Alabama. Hey, the horse is out even enjoying it. Brandy submitting this picture. Cool shot right there, and a cool shot adding the horse to it. So it just makes the picture so much better, and especially because it's one of the few times that horse has ever seen the Northern Lights, including myself. I mean, this is probably, I can count on one hand how many times I've seen the Northern Lights living down south. Sarah in Corinth submitting this picture as well, still with those greens showing up and those almost, there's a little bit of some pillar action right there in the middle of your screen. So things are still looking good. That was 3 minutes ago in Corinth. That's right along the Tennessee state line. Lowndes County still getting a good visual. That's from Kay in New Hope. That's still having some red hues to it, so I think we're still getting to enjoy a little bit of those Northern Lights. Sean submitting this picture. That's a good-looking sky. It's kind of creepy. Halloween's over, but that's kind of a creepy picture. I like that. That's a cool-looking picture. Bowie, Texas. Okay. Sharing the love all across the United States. We've had Missouri, we've had Texas, we've had Nebraska, we've had Tennessee. We've had Alabama and Mississippi. We've had 6 out of the 50 states, Matt, for this event. That's pretty cool.
We've got Macon. These cameras with North Mississippi Storm Chasers. We're going to talk to Adrian, I think, here in just a minute. But man, these cameras are looking good out there.
High exposure.
Yeah, the long exposure there. They just put Pontotoc back into one. I always click Oxford instead of Pontotoc on that. Click that there. There's Pontotoc.
There you go.
Okay.
It's showing up.
In 1 second mode. We'll see if that shows up a little better here in a second. But yeah, some good glow there. Still waiting for Adrian with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers to hopefully get in here in a minute to be able to kind of talk us through. He mentioned what we have. We have a pretty substantial what we call substorm ongoing now. Whoa! Oh!
Is that Pontotoc?
That's Pontotoc.
Did it just?
And that's
update?
how long. That's the difference. That's a difference. A long exposure comes in. Yeah, I think they got the longer exposure on there. Man, appreciate Drew with Hascams for working the magic on that. That's impressive. Okay, here's what I would say. Go to Chroma, run links for a couple minutes, show some of these pictures and stuff there on going through some of the cameras, and then I will. North Mississippi Storm Chasers, these cameras, I'm telling you, when we get the severe weather season, they're going to be huge. But right now, they're looking pretty good tonight. Okay, I'm going to send it back to you on the Chroma Key to look at some of the other cameras, just kind of tour the area. And by the time we're done with that, hopefully we'll have Adrian ready to go.
I got you. Well, I'm actually going to pull up the Waynesboro, Tennessee camera real quick because, I mean, that's a good looking shot for sure. Just look at that. I mean, you can see the evident pillars right there in the middle. We were debating on the pillars right here. Well, hey, there's no debate about these right here. The yellows and almost greens showing up right at the base right here, but that paint covering the entire sky. I know Tennessee Valley weather, going to be a show tonight at 10 o'clock, getting to view that because it is just such a cool sight. Oh, to live up north and get to see this. But Mississippi, hey, you are covering the ground for sure, just getting us the coverage that we need for some of these Northern Lights down here. So really cool shots around the area. Wait, hang on. There we go. Getting it back on track. Yeah, just really cool. You're getting to see all this take place. And again, not something you see every day. So hopefully you've gotten to enjoy this here across North Mississippi this evening, because if not, you are definitely missing out. Look at that Pontotoc camera. Hey, Waynesboro, you look good, but Pontotoc might look better. Golly, that is a cool looking shot. Look at that pillar right there in the middle. I just want to keep it on there for a second because that covers the whole sky. That has looked better and better over the past 3 minutes. That has been all it's taken to go ahead and get these great looks. So if we do these exposure on a lot of locations, there's Amory right there with that pillar right there in the middle. I can't believe this. Where did this resurgence come from? It's like, you think I'm dead? I'm right back. And there's Caledonia getting a good look right there. I mean, you have those pinks right there in the middle of your screen. I do want to point out, it is cold this evening, 48 degrees. So if you're going out to see this, definitely bundle up. But, I mean, you are not missing out on a show no matter where you're at.
So this is Adrian with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. Adrian, I have your video up, just so you know. You should be able to hear me through the phone as per normal, and people at home can hear you as well. So thank you so much for joining us tonight on Mississippi Live. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. What a wonderful night it is.
I mean, I know this is. I'm not saying you don't nerd out over weather. Don't get me wrong. But in our chat, this is your thing. You are the Northern Lights Aurora guy. So first off, where are you at tonight? And what have you been seeing up there? And obviously, it's not going to look great on camera. For more than anything, I'm just, I guess you have your camera there, kind of in the foreground of the pictures you're seeing, what you're seeing as well. But this substorm coming in. Can you tell people what that means and what it's all about?
Yes, sir. Can you still hear me?
Oh, absolutely. Go for it.
Okay, sorry, my phone's glitching a little bit on this side. But so as far as the substorm goes, the ionosphere is very unstable right now at this point from just getting hammered by solar flares that were coming in earlier this evening. There was 2 major ones, X-class flares, that have impacted our magnetosphere just before sunset, and it's really set the stage for just constant barrage of substorms to come in one after the other in this very unstable magnetosphere we have going on right now. And it's been very continuous, even compared to the ones we've had last year.
Okay, so let's break this down. So when you say substorm, obviously you have a solar storm, right? What do you mean when you say substorm, if you're breaking it down just a little bit?
Well, it's kind of like little ripples coming in of the. So you have the coronal mass ejection that has impacted us, right? And it's not a singular punch, right? It arrives, and then over time, you just kind of get ripples through the flow. And as it kind of loads it up and charges it, Matt, you really get these bright colors that extend all the way north to south. And it's very impressive. It's kind of like ripples on the water. You have your impact, and then you have your ripples that come after sort of like throwing a rock into a lake.
Okay, so you mentioned also that the ionosphere is, very unstable. The different layers of the atmosphere. Ionosphere is basically one of the outer layers, right? And so, when you say unstable, what does that mean? What makes it unstable?
Now, that's a great question. Now, that's not something I exactly have the exact answer to in front of me, but it's just the solar particles that have been just slamming into the magnetic poles on either side of the Earth, to my knowledge. Okay,
that makes sense. So here's the question, because you again watch, the dips, and you have certain charts. Is it the magnometer? Is that what you would call it?
Yes, that's the one I mainly use. It's great for real-time tracking what exactly the magnetic flow is doing. And as it dips lower. That's the magnetosphere just charging and charging and charging until you get that final release on the way up of the graph. And that's what really, really allows those colors to bloom, is you just get a surge, just an absolute surge of that energy all the way across.
Okay, so here's the question: what can people expect from here? I mean, how much more do you think we have of this tonight potentially?
Well, this has been a very special event, just as far as longevity. The one in May was similar in length, where it lasted for 2, 3, 4 hours. And the good thing about this is not only have we had one intense solar flare impact us, we've had 2 back-to-back X-class flares that have impacted us. So it's just been setting the stage a very, very long. Honestly,
well, we might be getting away from his. Might be getting away from him just a little bit. Oops, nope, wrong one of those. I'm gonna try to see if I can find the right lower third on here. There we are. Here we are. We might have lost his audio a little bit. Just Adrian, we might have to get back closer to a little bit of cell service, but we'll worry about that more here in just a minute. I'm gonna bring. I will come back to you here in a second when I see your audio levels come back on that, Gabe. But we'll get back to Adrian in a minute. Hopefully I can show some of the graphics that he's talking about there. But some beautiful shots still. I mean, Macon's a live shot behind me there. I'll send it back to you. I bet you're in front of the chroma wall, so I'll send it back to you over there, Gabe.
Do you want me to be over here or over in the chroma? I was just going to be over here to showcase some of the cameras. This is a look in Macon, like we were talking about a moment ago. Still seeing a lot of those reds and pinks show up right there at the center of your screen. Temperatures are getting cooler. I want to say from the meteorological side of things, it is getting to be colder into the evening, so please make sure to layer up if you are trying to view this magnificent phenomena that's taking place across North Mississippi right now. Let's get a look out there in Aberdeen with some of that high exposure right there on the left side of your screen. I am blocking it, but those pinks really evident right there in the Monroe County area. And same thing, speaking of Monroe County, let's look out of Amory this evening. Oh man, yeah, you're getting a good look out there. So no matter where you're at, those reds and those pinks definitely showing up and very evident. Jumping back to Pontotoc, because that had a good looking view earlier this evening. Looks like it might have diminished just so slightly. I don't know if that's
give it a second. I think that might be, we might be waiting on data to load in on that because it's doing long exposure, because that does not look up to date. I do have Adrian back, so I'm going to try to bring him back in. I'm going to try to see if there we go.
Let me stand back.
No, it's still pretty impressive on the long exposure there. So I'm going to try to get Adrian's audio back on. We might look at some of these cameras as well, since his shot's primarily dark bomb. I'm going to bring him back on, and we'll kind of go from there. So give me just a second, Gabe, to see if we can kind of do this. I'm going to bring Adrian.
Yes, sir. I can hear you. Well, your audio is just cut out on me, but I'm
Really tall
back.
you
My
are.
apologies. I'm having.
No, you're fine. You know, that's going to happen from time to time. And the fact that we're looking at black out of your shots, just one of those signs that, again, this is not as visually stimulating necessarily as is the case in certain situations. Okay, so let's go ahead and while we're looking at your shot here in a second, I'm going to try to pull up some of our discussion. Gabe, if you will, on the picture computer back in the studio, bring up the chat with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers, and then from there, I'm going to bring up some of the things he's posted in the chat. That sound good, Gabe? So once I see Gabe have that up, we'll go back to there. In the near term, I'm going to bring up one of y'all's cameras. We've had Pontotoc up multiple times. I'm going to bring that up and see if I can then pop your audio with that as well. So give me a moment. Okay, now your audio is up here. We're looking at the camera in Pontotoc, but so we were talking a little bit about the substorms, about some of these other things with this, and in particular, you know, some of the equipment that we use to know that something like this is going on, right? Can you hear me? Oh, you might not be able to hear me.
Oh, is it me?
Hold on. I don't know if you could hear me. Can you hear me now, Adrian? Nah, I think we might have lost the audio on that, unfortunately. Oh, well, I'll have to see if we can get that back. Either way, obviously, the shots continue to come in here, and they continue to look pretty. We haven't looked at pictures necessarily from the app in the last few minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and pull up some of those here from you that you guys have been sitting in, because there have just been a ton of great shots, again, continuing to come in on this evening. We're now at, what, 9:19 or so, about 300 shots you guys have sent in using the Mississippi Live Weather app, and obviously numerous more using the Mississippi Live, using the Facebook, things, the Facebook. Anyway, using Facebook. Let's bring it back in here. And then let's change this over there. Some of the shots. Give me a moment to bring it back up. And so this shot here coming in, again, Allen in the last couple minutes. Still, again, you can see some pillars on this shot here. And you'll notice that he's in a dark area. You're in the dark area. Still great views showing up with this as well. Again, those pillars, and appreciate again the folks at Room to Room for sponsoring us here in the Room to Room Weather Center, whether it's me physically at the station or here at home, again keeping us allowing us to be able to do what we're doing here. This from Carroll County, Stephanie with the picture here, the beautiful reds showing up just in the last, this picture submitted within the last 2 minutes or so. One of many pictures that we've had around the region of this Northern Lights event that we're in the midst of at this point in time. And as you can see, clearly the pictures continue to come in fast and furious. We'll see if we have one that has, again, a little bit better color there. And it does look like Adrian's audio is coming in here in a second. So we'll hear from him as we're looking at some of your pictures if we continue to keep his audio around. Adrian, can you hear me okay? Because I can hear you.
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Okay, so this from Crawford, Amanda Stoll with that picture there. While Amanda's picture's on the air, I'm looking at some of the things that you guys have been posting back and forth as you're talking about the atmosphere charging and then certain dips. Have you had a chance to look at any of that in the last few minutes? I know you have the video up and you're looking actually looking at your picture. Hold on. I'm going to bring up your shot for a second because I think I can see the pictures that you're taking. So if you'll pull, we can kind of see what it sort of looks like.
Whew. Yeah, it's struggling. So it's hard to see it with the naked eye in general. Hold up, I got someone pulling up behind me here. But the way I've got it set up right now is I have my phone that I'm taking pictures with set up through the camera that we have live streaming here. So you can kind of see what my camera's seeing.
Gotcha. Yeah, absolutely. And it's amazing that, the shot we're looking at with video is completely black. And the shot I'm looking at your phone taking a picture is completely different. And that's the beauty of this night mode that so many phones have nowadays.
Oh yeah, it's absolutely incredible that we're able to get these pictures. Within the last minute or so, I'll say strongest substorm of the night, just as far as vivid colors. We've had some greens underneath, just bright red pillars that I've seen with the naked eye. I mean, this thing's showing no signs of slowing down.
Okay, so in your assessment, it is about as good as it's been so far right now.
Yes, sir. Yes, to my assessment right now. I just took a picture. Let me pull up and see what it looks like. But
that's pretty good.
It was little about 5 minutes ago where you had a lot better pillar structure, but it's still very, very intense and very broad. A lot broader than it was earlier.
Yeah, it was really isolated, I think, for a little while there. I'm going to bring up y'all's camera in Oxford here for a second. I'm going to see if I can keep your audio over it. So give me a moment while I'm trying to kind of balance that. So just a second. And so my audio's up. It's going to take me a second to get his audio back up here. This is our camera there in the Oxford area. And I'm going to show some of your guys' cameras, and I'm going to see if I can put your title on here. Look at that. We did a thing. Okay. So I'm going to be able to show some of your cameras while I'm kind of talking to you about what you're seeing. And you guys, this is something that you guys watch very often, and I feel like there's about 2 or 3 times a year you get really excited. How did you know tonight was going to be more significant?
Well, originally it was the thought that tomorrow was going to be the main event, and it still very well may be, depending on timing. But a lot of the time, the timing of the time the CMEs arrive is really the determining factor on how good an event you're going to get. And over the last couple of months, we've had some significant that are Earth directed that we've just struggled with timing issues, or they've been partial misses. So we had 2 back-to-back flares with this event that were both Earth directed and both impacted roughly within an hour of each other. So it really set the stage for a special 1-2 punch to kind of just kick this Aurora activity into action.
Okay, so one of the things we talked about in our broadcast, I think at 5 and 6 o'clock, was the fact that once you got within about 1 million miles, you knew it was going to be a thing. And admittedly, I was in the midst of a show. Was there that trigger to say this is going to be happening with that little bit of a heads up, or is that something that I just missed?
Well, it always happens really fast, and you kind of have a general idea like, hey, there could be something tonight. But we've had that the last 5 or 6 times. We've had a potential Aurora event. Really, once getting the data in, as far as just how strong that first flare was when it impacted, I forget what was originally forecasted, but I think it was a roughly KP7, which is still high on the scale, but much lower than we anticipated this first arrival to be. It ended up being roughly, I was getting HP values, which is the 30-minute intervals of the KP index, of well over 8.5. I think the highest reading I got was 8.6 on it, which was very, very significant and much higher than originally forecasted. And to see how the BZ, or the Z-axis of the B dropped so dramatically south, we knew it was go time at that point.
So, okay, hold on. Let's go back there and parse out what you just said. Because I'll be perfectly honest with folks at home. I read up a lot on this when we get to these Aurora events, but you speak the language better than I do. Okay, talk about how does the Z-axis make a difference in this? Like Z-axis versus the other axes.
Well, what the BZ does, it shows you how far south the magnetic field is directed, right? The more south or more negative is what we would say. Positive would means it's directed north, and negative means it's directed south. We want it to be negative because that funnels the aurora activity to the central equator. So that's a really important metric to look at when you're trying to decide, okay, is this aurora going to be a big event for the southern latitudes? Is you want to see how negative that value is. And just for example, back in May of last year, it was roughly about negative 50 or minus 50. So it was very dramatically south. That's why we got those intense aurora shows back in May. Back in October, it was roughly about negative 30. So you got a low latitude show, but not quite, all the way down to southern Texas and, some of the southern Caribbean islands like you did in May.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
one
Okay.
has been roughly at minus 50 for
Okay.
2
So
to 3
similar to
hours.
May of last year, then.
Yes, the BZ value is 100%.
Okay. Okay. So what I'm trying to see if I can do is I'm gonna, and I don't know if I'm able to pull this up here, so I'm gonna try to do this behind the scenes. Give me a moment I'm gonna break my computer to fix my computer and show, because I can go back in time and look at kind of some of what we're looking at here. Give me a moment to see if I can pull up on your Skycam here. Which of these do I want to break? Let's break NWS chat. Okay, so I'll be honest. I'm looking at these cameras, by the way, and I'm not seeing quite what I saw even 5 minutes ago. Would you say from the naked eye that this is a little less impressive than it was a few minutes ago, or is that just the cameras aren't picking it up as well?
Visually, I would say yes, even versus 5 to 10 minutes ago. It's not as vivid, at least to the naked eye. And through the camera, it seems like that specific wave is moving overhead. It kind of just advances south. So when I'm pointing my camera here, I'm getting more. Let me pull up one of my other pictures. It's much more overhead versus what it was earlier off in the horizon. And that tells me this wave is moving clear past me down south. And I'm not seeing any stronger waves behind it at this point. So I'll have to check with the magnometer and just see exactly how this thing is doing. If it's charging up another substorm, if it's flattened out, it looks like it's done. We'll have to see. But right now, it's definitely less intense than it was just a couple minutes ago.
So I can show something else here for a second. Can you pull up some of those graphs that you're talking about there? I know I can pull those up, but I'd rather pull it up and showing what you're showing there. I'm going to switch it back over here to my camera and pop your audio over top of my camera for a moment. And I'm going to show some pictures from some folks for a moment while you get that ready. Again, you're watching live coverage here on Mississippi Live Weather of, what frankly is just a solar storm, sending a bunch of opportunities to see some northern lights over top of us. The atmosphere very charged up with ions from the solar wind hitting it, causing the light show that we're seeing this evening. We've had a number of different solar storms have kicked through. I think my computer here is trying to really rev up and pull up all the photos because y'all have shown out. Well, I'll go ahead and flip it back over while I wait for that to load in. But you guys have shown out with more than 300 photos just submitted using the Mississippi Live Weather app. And so waiting for when there's that many in there, it's like, wait a second, hold on. There we go. Now all those photos are kind of coming into our gallery. Yeah, about 316 photos now. And it does look like photos are maybe a little less pronounced than even a few minutes ago. This picture coming in here, Dino sending us this shot. If I pull it up like that. This coming in just a couple minutes ago. The reds aren't quite as bright as they were just a couple minutes ago. So, and on our cameras with North Mississippi storm chasers aren't showing up quite as bright as well. And I'll tell you that's going to be kind of a difficult shot to see, Adrian, but let's pull it up.
All right, give me 1 second. I can hold it up just a little bit closer like that. Right
there you go. That's
there.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. So what are we looking at? For someone that's just like, okay, it's blue and a red line. What does it mean?
Okay. So as the blue and red, these are both measurements of different satellites, right? They're basically measuring the same thing. Different locations in the Earth's atmosphere.
So kind of like dual Doppler radar, except for measuring the solar wind and ions and that sort of thing.
Right, right. So as these hit their peak, right, and they start working their way down, that is that's the that's the charging effect that you're seeing. I'm sorry, I'm trying to figure out how to word it here. Uh, the charging effect as you go down, down, and once you reach the maximum, the rate at which it explodes back northward, right? And you see that one we had just, sorry, let me,
Oh yeah, where it just shoots right up.
yeah, where it shoots right up right there. That's the explosion of the ionosphere and just releasing all that unstable particle. And that's your aurora, right? That's your energy being released. So, something kind of to relate it to severe weather wise, the concept of a lapse rate, right?
Uh-huh.
The steeper that lapse rate is, the faster it rises and the more explosive the particle is. It's kind of the same concept as far as the steepness. The steeper of the rise after the fact, uh, or the more explosive storm is as far as aurora activity.
So, the steeper the drop makes less difference. You want to see that you're looking for it to drop level and then shoot back up quickly, right? Does the relative
Right.
level of where the reading is make a difference? For example, I could see that kind of that middle line there between the two that we're looking at there. Does it make a difference if those drop below that? Do you know that, okay, it's probably going to charge up quickly, or maybe charge up isn't the right word, but it's going to have that sharp peak more quickly after that? Is there some kind of correlation there related to that? Or is it just, okay, we're watching it, look, there's a peak, here it comes?
Well, normally, so you want to see it slowly work lower and lower on the graph, right?
Yeah.
Baseline, I believe, let me go back to the 6 hour. This is the 6 hour loop, right? You can see how back there it was relatively stable and much higher,
Yes.
but we slowly started dropping more lower and lower, and that just shows you the type of last couple of hours we've had, uh, as far as instability. But
So that makes
it
sense when
really
you talk
doesn't
about the
matter where you
incredible
start.
variability of it. And you mentioned how it just looked like it was unstable. I mean, I think clearly you can see the left half of that graph is rather stable, and the right half is not.
Right. Those first huge dips that you see right there, that was the arrival of those X flares, the coronal mass ejections. That's when they both
Gotcha.
arrived back to back within the hour.
Gotcha. So that
And it's
that is
just been
kind of
very
a,
unstable
oh, here
since.
it comes. And then the first where it juts up there right after the blue, the main blue dips where it kind of juts up at that. You have that red peak, that first kind of big red peak, and the first big blue peak. That's when we got like the first big show out of it. Is that reasonable to say?
Yes, that's very reasonable. And if you let me see if I can zoom in right here, it appears we might be in loop for
There
another
we go.
substorm going on right now.
So and so
Uh,
that's so what you're looking at is from those satellites that are probably a million some miles out that are kind of the first warning, the last warning, like, hey, here it comes. Is that fair to say?
yes, yes,
Okay.
absolutely.
So then I think from that we can say, and give me a second I'm going to pop it back to me so I can show some pictures here. You're watching Mississippi Live Weather. I'm talking to Adrian Roncahone, who is with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. I'm going to keep his audio up here as we kind of talk back and forth to this, but also at the same time try to kind of showcase some of your pictures, and we'll check out some of the cameras. I will say, looking at Macon, and let me change my output behind me for a moment. That Cameron Macon is showing a little bit more pink than it was a few minutes ago. Not at peak levels by any stretch, but I think looking again at that most recent peak you saw on the graph that Adrian had a second ago, possibility that we could be looking towards something new. Now, this is on a really, really long exposure here. That's the reason why it's taking this a moment to really open up. And so because of that long exposure, you'll see it just pop here in a second. And that's when we're looking at the live data. And there it goes with that. So what it's doing is it's doing that because it's taking a long time to get an update from the camera, so it keeps it wide open so we can see more of those pink colors and green colors versus what we would before. So that's definitely showing maybe a little more than we had a couple of minutes ago here. And I'm going to kind of lock and load a couple other pictures for some folks, as I know that Adrian's taken his pictures behind the scenes as well of some of obviously what are some amazing shots, coming in that you guys have sent in today. A lot of reds in this picture here. This one coming in from Cheyenne, sending this in just a few minutes ago. Always helps if you put the name of the location in there, especially on right now where I'm just kind of pulling it from a big old gallery since we just have so many photos to go through there. But dark reds and a beautiful silhouette in the foreground here, a sign that they've got a really good night sky there. I'm envious. If we didn't have this solar storm, and even if we do, probably some amazing shots there of the Milky Way coming in with that one. I'm going to keep you again behind the scenes here, Adrian. I'm going to watch your audio levels, and I will probably pop you up after I go to Gabe here in a second. I'm going to bring Gabe in for a moment because he's been monitoring a lot of things as well. I know a number of the pictures and things with folks. I'm going to bring it over. I think you're probably at the big monitor there, Gabe. And what do you have coming in now? Hold on.
There we go. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I turned off my audio behind the scenes. Had to go get a sip of water. I wanted to showcase.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, go get a sip of water because I think we've been talking about these Northern Lights for about 2.5 hours now. So shows how excited we are here behind the scenes, and we'll touch back with Matt and Adrian here in just a moment. I want to showcase to you guys a little game of I Spy. We all played it as a kid, right? Well, this is a great shot of one of those Northern Lights pictures that we've had across the area, and this was submitted by Holly. Holly told me that the Northern Lights, very cool feature. Shooting star, really cool, right there in the middle. Now, I'm curious if that's actually shooting star, kind of, with the high exposure. Could be a multitude of things, but this is the favorite part of the picture. Look at that. I don't know if you can see it. Oh my word. Let me zoom in here real quick because basically it was someone in the background due to the high exposure that basically you can see the two eyes in the distance. And I'm so curious if you can see that right there in the middle of your screen. So that is creepy. That is creepy, but one of my favorite photos of the night so far, I was behind the scenes just rolling looking at that picture because you would be too if you saw that because I was like, where are the eyes? Oh, right there staring at me. So that was one of the pictures. Big shout out to Holly. And creepy picture post-Halloween. We'll take it, but still very cool to get to see some of those. We've gotten a multitude of pictures across the region just submitted from all across North Mississippi. I'm just going to cycle through a few of these. As you can see, this was during that second resurgence that took place here across North Mississippi that Adrian has been breaking down for us. And you can see those vibrant colors just being seen. Some of those greens as well in the distance. So getting a good look right there. I'm going to try and, I think I can zoom it out just a bit. That was Caleb actually messaging me. So I think Caleb has a picture too that we'll be able to showcase here in just a moment. But yeah, getting some of those greens right there in the distance. And if we just keep cycling through it, you can just see the beauty that comes with these Northern Lights, no matter where you are at, has been quite a show, a storm that we like to see in North Mississippi. So big shout out to everyone for submitting their photos. And again, another drone shot right there during that second resurgence from Mark, getting a good view right there. Honestly, more vibrant than the first one. And I thought the first one was fantastic. So, oh my word, just take it all in. Take it all in.
I'm jealous. Apparently they have a better low light drone camera than we have, or maybe I just timed it really wrong.
Well, they're also in, I think they said Dennis, I think is where they are.
Okay.
So I don't know if that had anything to do with it. Oh, hey, do you want to play I Spy real quick?
Okay.
So
I heard something about these eyes. Now, where did you? Who told you about the eyes?
I've seen them. Submitted the picture. This is the comment that they had. It was. Let me see if I can get off screen enough. Northern Lights.
Like somebody's watching me.
Do you see that?
I do see that.
That's creepy.
Is it actually eyes?
Yes. It was someone in the distance. They said Northern Lights, cool. Shooting star, really cool. Not realizing there's a pair of eyes that are just staring at you. Absolutely not cool. And I felt like that was a very perfect description.
Not priceless, right? Do you remember the priceless commercials? Are you too young for that?
The what commercials?
It's like it'd be three things, and the last thing would be the price of this, priceless. It was like MasterCard commercials back in the day.
Would you be upset if I said I don't remember?
Young and no, I know. You're about 7 years old. It's fine. That's fine. Whatever. I'm old. Not every day I feel old, but here we go with one. Okay, let's check out some of these shots. Wanda with another great picture here. Again, appreciate all of you for sending in your weather pictures, all our weather watchers here in North Mississippi and beyond. We've had a lot from beyond this evening. Wanda with a great picture there. Of course, cattle guard in the foreground there. And then, of course, the lights in the background. I'm going to bring in Adrian's audio. Adrian, I think your audio's still up. What are you seeing as far as the most recent substorm? First off, are we dealing with another one of these substorms kind of affecting us, or how are things playing out at this point?
We certainly had a weaker one here about 5 minutes ago. Through the yellow or the red haze, you could see some distinct pillars off in the distance. Here, let me see if I can go back. Find it. Yeah, so we had some pillars off in the distance that were shining just for a moment, but they've since faded. I'm wondering if the data has
I can
started to tank
actually, I
back into
think,
the
sort
charging
of
phase.
see those. I can sort of see those on y'all's Pontotoc camera. Well, no, I can see it on the picture there. Yeah. Yeah, so you can definitely see that. So what causes the pillars? Again, I'm going to ask you all those questions, and I could actually go and figure that out myself for sure. And at one point I kind of knew, but is it just the way that the ions are aligning along the magnetic field lines?
That's something I don't actually know.
Okay, I will figure
What I
that out
do
and
know
have
is
that
they are
answer
a
here in a
sign of
minute.
a stronger substorm.
Okay. Well, I will get the answer for that here in a second. I'm going to bring up y'all's. Let's see here. Let's get this changed over so I can bring up the camera in Pontotoc, because I do kind of see a thing. Some vertical lines there showing up on this as well. Some of this green on the horizon could again be, and Adrian, I know that I have your audio in the background. I don't know if I have it potted up at this moment. I don't. I'm bring it in. Are you getting any greens on yours? Or I'm assuming the greens I'm seeing on Pontotoc are just the fact that we're getting the lights of the city there kind of shining. Is that more reasonable?
Let me check my latest photo. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
But especially on the sky cams, yeah. Well, I do faint greens. There is some faint greens on mine.
Okay, so
Then I do have
maybe it's
some
just we got
light.
a really long exposure. That's what it is.
Yeah, it's very possible. I do have some light pollution where I'm at, but this is a little off to the right of where the light pollution is in previous photos. So this very well might be some green seeping through.
Okay, let's see here. Hold on.
Normally you do get, so you get the reds first, the bright reds, then the reds transition to pillars. And then if you have a strong enough storm post that point, you get some greens that start to seep in underneath. And then, you get some of those dark purples.
Now, I have
So
not been fortunate enough to really see many dark purples, unfortunately. By the way, it is the magnetic field lines when I went through and did my check on that. So good guess.
yeah, great.
Next time I'll try to get Dr. Tanner from down at Mississippi State. We usually try to talk to her about some astronomy stuff, and I realized that I did not have her phone number. And I know she watches from time to time, so I'm sure that she will reach out, Matt at msliveweather.com, so we'll get hooked up so we can talk next time as well. That's not to say you're not doing a great job, Adrian. You're doing a spectacular job.
Oh no, she's the expert. Bring her in. I want to hear her talk.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if she emails me on that. If that's the case, we'll try to bring it up. I love how our Tupelo Tower cam again is probably not going to have a great shot of this here because again, this is not with a long exposure, and it's a reminder that if you're going outside, I'll move this side because you still see kind of the orangish sort of color over there. If you're going outside expecting to see bright red like these photos are showing, that is just not the reality of the situation. It doesn't look quite like that to the naked eye. Y'all have sent in about 350 pictures so far. This one from Asia in Algoma. I'll kind of pop this up here. Again, Asia shot, again, beautiful stars, the green toward the horizon, probably more a little layer of clouds we've had move through and then a reflection of a distant city. Algoma is not exactly near cities, but you know what? That's probably looking toward that would be looking toward Pontotoc, so that's probably the same green that we're getting on the Pontotoc camera a moment ago there. Whatever clouds, whatever, haze is kind of reflecting that back there. It's probably what's being detected. Appreciate Asia for sharing that in the Mississippi Live Weather app. And again, I kind of sort of see on the wider shot, I saw the pillars more than on this one here. This picture coming in from This would be Smithville from Elizabeth McMillan. Appreciate Elizabeth for sharing this here. You're watching Mississippi Live weather. Current time is 9:46. So here's what I need from you behind the scenes, Gabe Maynor. We're going to actually have a show together for 10 o'clock. I'm going to leave you links to try to get us a show sort of up together. I'll take the A block. I'll give you B block. We'll show some pictures intermixed with both those and actually show a little bit of weather. But I'll let you get that all up and ready to go behind the scenes. We'll lock and load the show and launch that coming up right at 10 o'clock. So we actually get people a little bit of actual weather information tonight as well. But between then and now, it's weather pictures and it's all Aurora. And who knows, we might just keep it mainly Aurora then as well. I mentioned Adrian. You can kind of hear him with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers behind the scenes here, kind of monitoring things. So you mentioned that might have been like a little bit of a substorm kind of sweeping down now. Is it recharging at all? Or is this, I mean, they don't typically last super long, and we're already kind of at a fairly long run here.
Right. Yes, absolutely. We have synced back into the, or if you'd like to say, recharging phase, as the graph is starting to work its way back down. But that's not to say we are still holding strong. I'm checking the 30-minute interval KP index, right? I believe the regular KP index that we look at is a 3-hour average, a running average.
Okay.
Of the KP index, but I'm looking at the HP 30 index, which is it updates every 30 minutes.
Okay.
This is data from Germany, and we are showing a solid 9 on the KP or the HP 30 index right now. Now the KP index
I'm gonna have to have you put in the Chaser chat that link so I can pull that up and show them while you talk about it. Can you do that? Drop that in the Chaser chat.
Yes,
it will
absolutely.
keep your audio. It will keep your audio up on your call there as you go to other apps. As long as you don't, go to an app that uses audio, your audio will still stay up even if you change to other apps. Awesome. I guess you probably have a second phone anyway.
That I was recording with. Let's see.
Okay. Well, let's show some weather pictures here for a moment. Again, here's a shot from Kimberly there. Appreciate that beautiful kind of shot, even though it is over top of looks to be a graveyard, which maybe is more fitting for a different month than the current one. Look at that. But this one, unless those are some kind of power lines in this one as well, Heasy there from Corinth. And there are some of the pillars. No question what we're kind of, see it. Look, I think it's overblown on my computer here. I wonder if I can change. I don't want to break this, but I feel like maybe it's just my one monitor there. It's overblown. Hopefully at home it looks better. My side monitor on the other side there, I think, is a little overblown. But you can definitely see some of the vertical lines there, some of the pillars with that sent in from Corinth a little bit ago. Just such beautiful red. This happens so infrequently. And this has been a pretty good solar cycle we've been in lately, so I'm glad to see that. Let's go back and kind of check as I dig a little deeper here, try to get some photos sent in a little bit ago. This, no question, this one has some green in it. This would have been Barton Ramsey in Oklahoma there, sitting in this shot. I was in this group text a minute ago there. That is some beautiful green. I know, Adrian, you might be able to see that here in a minute. You should get a mix minus where you can see the video back on some of what we're showing there. But that is some pretty green. Appreciate Barton for sending in that shot a little bit ago. No question. That is amazing. And he was probably in the middle of nowhere, knowing him. So Barton with Southern Oak Kennels, some of the best trained dogs in the world coming from here in North Mississippi and Southern Oak Kennels. So he gets to enjoy some of the very, very out there locations, and that's a pretty shot. Appreciate him for sharing that. Okay, Adrian, let me think. Did you happen to pop one of those in there? I see that tag. I'll see if I can pull that up here in a moment. Ooh, I might not be able to switch that there. Gabe, if you don't mind going to the BAM and doing a couple of pictures while I try to pull up the Chaser chat here for a moment, I'll send it back to you for just a moment, and then I'll bring it back to Adrian here, if that sounds good. So I'm going to send it back
Awesome.
over to Gabe, who's at the big monitor over there. Well, it did not switch back. Give me a moment. There we go. I'll let you do some more pictures there. I've been hitting mainly from the app. You've got the Facebook, though.
And together we have about 1,000 pictures.
At least, right?
Exactly. And a big thank you to everyone once again for just supporting us here at Mississippi Live Weather and giving us the beautiful pictures all across North Mississippi. Again, you guys have provided the bulk of the content for the show because you are our eyes in the sky. So a big thank you for joining us on Mississippi Live Weather, and another big thank you for sending those in. So this is a look out of Iuka. This was around 9:20, still having those vibrant colors right there in the distance. A beautiful shot right there submitted by Danette over there in Iuka. Again, this was about a half hour ago. So as those trends start to take place, we can see a little bit of a diminishing trend over the next few moments. Aaron submitting this great photo. Aaron, I don't know where this was at because the location is not attached, but wow, what a shot. Look at that green right there on the horizon along with those pinks. I mean, that is, I think, as vibrant of a green as I've seen out of any of these pictures so far. So a big thank you to him for submitting that picture. I see a streak right there from Kelly. Right there in the middle of the screen might be a pillar right there. Looks really good, looks really pronounced. So definitely showing off and showing out. That is from Kelly. Again, no location attached to that, but we are awaiting that location if you want to put that in the chat real quick. As we take a look across the area, you can just see picture after picture. Calhoun City there from Nancy. A little bit of, I think actually Matt showed this picture over the graveyard, but if you look at the pinks right there, a beautiful shot nonetheless. I'm actually going to refresh this because it has been down
Different graveyard, believe it or not.
Really?
Yeah.
See, we've had the spooky eyes. We've had 2 graveyards now. Are you sure Halloween's over?
I'm pretty sure. But apparently I'm not completely sure.
Well, I mean, it's kind of spooky with the silhouettes and everything. I mean, it adds to it, but that's kind of funny. I thought I was going back into your territory of your pictures, Matt, but I don't know, graveyards. You know, that makes sense though. Graveyards, low lit locations, kind of out rural areas. Mm-hmm. It's not a bad spot to be whenever we talk about Northern Lights.
It's really not. So I'll take over again here for a second if you want, and I'm gonna look through. I'm gonna bring it back here, and then we'll change the background off of that. Again, Gabe's kind of setting up everything for the show with those clear skies we have out there. This was the graph, and I'll bring Adrian back in here that he was mentioning a moment ago. That shows that, you know, kind of recharging of the atmosphere right now, that it's staying kind of at the 9. Well, and it doesn't look like I have a good clip of the screen. So let's come over to this computer. Y'all don't want to know how many monitors I have here at the house. It's insulting to electricity. Okay, so I have your graph up here, Adrian, and I mean, clearly it's high, right? On that half-hour average.
Right. Oh yeah.
I mean, that's about as high as it gets, I'm
scale.
assuming. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which I've seen it hit about 9. I believe last May I saw it hit 9.5. Roughly is what I saw it hit over the course of like 3 consistently. So
yeah,
that event was very special in its own right. But this, I mean, this has been very consistent too in the upper echelon of solar storms, sitting at a solid 8 for the past 2 or 3 hours and peaking at 9, what you've seen in the last half hour.
Yeah, that's, I mean, okay, got it. No cookies. Yeah, I mean, that's very substantial. And you guys have been sending in a ton of pictures as well that I have not been getting into. I mean, here's some of the pictures that I have, some of your guys' pictures showing up, and in particular yours that you have in front of that lake. So this is an opportunity to kind of show some of the pictures. Now, these are the more recent ones in the last couple minutes here that you have sent in. I mean, I see some of those pillars you're talking about, very, very much visible kind of middle of that. So you're up near Iuka? Where are you at?
So I am all the way north of J.P. Coleman State Park, all the way toward the very tip of the Little Peninsula, right there on Pickwick Lake. So at the far tip of J.P. Coleman State Park, just past the government facilities. So
Okay.
right here on the lake with a good view to the north. And I've got people coming in and out. But yeah, it's really the place, the only local place that I could really get away from the light pollution. That's the biggest thing, where you get some of that ambient green light that really messes up your aurora photos. So it was really important to get away from the light pollution best I could in my region.
Yeah, well, I mean, you got some good ones, no question about that. I'm gonna kind of cycle through some of the rest of them, even though I'm gonna have your name up. We're gonna kind of go through some of these. These couple come from Stan with North Mississippi Storm Chasers, likely down Oktibbeha County area where he's kind of based out of. You can see some of the pillars even down there, maybe not quite as pronounced as yours. And again, that's some of that ambient green light that is just nearly impossible to get away from. A lot of the green light we're seeing on these, not necessarily the auroras. There are a couple that the green light has been the auroras, but there's a lot where that hasn't necessarily been the case. Shane up in Georgetown, Kentucky, with some shots here that, again, a reminder that you don't have to be north. Sometimes you can be right here and be in good shape. He has some decent shots, but I mean, I think Adrian's blow them out of the water. So here in North Mississippi, we've had a pretty good show tonight as well. Yes, Gabe.
Hey, I do want to say, pull up the Lynx computer right now and look at how many photos have been submitted in 24 hours.
You mean in 3 hours?
Really?
Yeah, and they haven't all filled into the system. It's been a large outpouring of photos. Thank you so much for sharing those. And we might use that to pull some of the farther photos. I'm going to take it down here in a second. Honestly, we can pull the photos up in the other place probably just as easily as you're pulling them in there. I would get the other stuff ready, and I'll just kick it back to here when we need to hit some photos.
Perfect.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
And of course, Gabe will also have a look at kind of everything. So hopefully I'll have that ready. By the way, Gabe, we'll probably we'll probably send a push out on the app, and we'll just leave Facebook and everything going as it is, rather than shut it down and restart it. Sound good?
Yeah. Let me get some last minute things over here, and we should be good to go.
Okay, that'll work. Let me get my output back over here to some of the other pictures. And again, going through so many pictures that y'all have sent in. It's just been an incredible number of pictures. We're at 366 or so far this evening. I think everybody's probably, hopefully, got their fill of the aurora so far. There are just some that have, again, I like the fact that we've had a few selfies that have been sent in among the many, many others. It's kind of an important thing to make sure that you're enjoying events like this with the family, because it's just kind of a cool opportunity to see that. Adrian with the Storm Chasers here, so looking at some of your latest data, is it reasonable to assume that again, we're kind of recharging for more at this point? Do you see any indications of another substorm coming?
The dips have been much less intense as far. It seems like it might be evening out, but with the KP index still very high, it's certainly plausible that we could get another wave. They just might become slowly further apart over time.
That's not unreasonable. I mean, that kind of makes most things in science would work that way. So that wouldn't be at all shocking if that were the case in this situation. So that makes sense.
According to the data, it says that we reached, we're actually encountering another small substorm at this moment, but they're fluctuating a lot less. So maybe it's the atmosphere trying to equalize itself, or the ionosphere.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. That could definitely be the case. I have our reminder up there. We do live shows at 5, 6, and 10 p.m., 6:37 and 7:30 a.m. Of course, that means we do have a 10 o'clock show coming up here in just a few seconds where we're going to kind of re-rack things here. And we do appreciate everyone for, again, watching us here on Mississippi Live Weather and supporting us here. And we will kind of start that show up here in a second. We'll talk to Adrian about his predictions on where we're going from here. But Mississippi Live Weather at 10 o'clock starts here in just a moment.
We found Tupelo Smiles when our kids outgrew their pediatric dentist, and my husband and I wanted a place where the whole family could be taken care of.
As far as technology goes, there is nobody more advanced than Tupelo Smiles.
Give the gift of a delicious burger from Bulldog Burger, a soup and sandwich from Sweet Pepper's Deli, appetizers and cocktails from The Grill, or even a wood-fired steak from Harvey's. Choice is the perfect gift. An all-in-one gift card from Eat With Us.
Mississippi's trusted weather experts. This is Mississippi Live Weather at 10.
Welcome to Mississippi Live Weather at 10. I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Lawpon. Maybe we've been doing space weather a little more than we usually do here so far this evening. And hopefully that's been something that you have enjoyed. It's not often we get auroras here in Mississippi, and very rare that they last more than a few minutes to tens of minutes. But tonight has been a night where, well, there's no question, we have had some incredible visibility of what's going up there in the upper levels of the atmosphere. And Just so excited to see that and hoping that's something that continues a little bit longer if it's something that you have in fact missed. So our headlines this evening, did you see it? We know so many of you've had about 370 photos sent in just in the Mississippi Live Weather app where we have the location. We can kind of show that coming up here in a couple minutes because they've been from all around the country that have been sent in, whether you're watching us here or elsewhere. We're also looking at clear and dry conditions tonight, which has been one of the things that's allowed us to be able to see those as we've gone through the evening, and temperatures trending warmer. One of the big stories, along with some rain chances that we are looking at there in the extended forecast. But looking through the first 12 here, again, 11 p.m. we're 39. It's not like it's exactly warm out there as we're enjoying, or maybe not enjoying, these cold temperatures, but at least the view has been great. 38, 2 o'clock in the morning, 38 for around 5 a.m. The thinking is maybe we drop a couple more degrees from where we're at this point here. I honestly think it's probable that we'll have some spots still mid-30s out there for tomorrow morning. That's something we'll look at in a little more detail come up here a couple minutes. But tomorrow we do build in the 60s, which is warmer than today, and probably middle to upper 60s as we head toward the afternoon. Outside right now in Clarksdale, we show up with what are those mostly clear skies. Not much red showing up in that shot there. I'm going to bring it back in here and bring it back full screen here for a moment. That fades behind me for a second. And we show some of your pictures because, again, that has been one of the big headlines tonight. You guys have just really shown up with all of the photographs here across North Mississippi of all of these shots of the aurora, the northern lights. Gabe, while I'm pulling this up, if you will also add to our rundown that northern light aurora, set of graphics there that kind of those explainers will show that. But I mean, just some amazing shots coming in tonight, trying to show some of the newer ones here. We showed Asia with some pillars in Algoma a little bit ago. Looks like she's resubmitted that one there. This shot here showing that things are maybe waning just a little bit. This picture, we'll get the information on that. This is Boonville, sent in at 9:51, so a few minutes ago. Not quite as impressive as what we had earlier on, so maybe a little bit past the peak as far as that is concerned, but certainly talking to one of our at least experts, and maybe he'd hate that I'd call him as much there, but Adrian with the North Mississippi Storm Chasers. I'm going to actually bring in your shot. I know that, and it'll take me a second to kind of bring it up here behind the scenes. You might, if you're able to get to some light, we could look at you here for a second on the camera on that shot. But I know you're obviously trying to avoid light so you can take pictures. So kind of up to you on how that works. I'm going to bring Adrian's shot in here for a second. And thank you again for joining us here on Mississippi Live Weather.
Okay. Awesome. So you have my shot right here. Were you looking to see a picture of the current state of the sky, or did you want to have me talk to y'all for a second?
Well, let's see the current state of the sky, and then let's have you talk, because we've kind of utilized you as one of our experts this evening, because you, my wife likes to refer to everything we do here as the various nerd chats, and so in my local weather nerd chat, you are our aurora guy, and because nobody gets more excited than you do about them. So that looks like a fairly recent photo, and that still looks pretty visible, right?
Yes, absolutely. We've got some lingering reds overhead of my location right now. It seems to be fanning out, not as focused as it once was, but absolutely still a good show.
Okay, so and we'll bring you back on camera here for a second, kind of talk through this. There are a lot of different layers to what has happened and what could kind of happen here going forward. One of which is the fact that you have the main wave that comes in, but then you have some of these substorms, so to speak, that come in as well, where we've had some of the relative major peaks. It's, I think in your assessment, likely that we probably are, past maybe the major substorms that go along with this. Is that a fair assessment to say?
I would say certainly past the main peak of the initial waves once the coronal mass ejections impacted us a couple of hours ago. But we're still getting the lingering effects up and down. It's just not as perhaps vivid as it once was.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you for being kind of our eyes out there in the field on this. Let us know if you see it kind of picking up a little bit more. And thank you for all you and the North Mississippi Storm Chasers do to support us here on Mississippi Live Weather. We really appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. Appreciate you for having us.
Okay, that's Adrian Roncajon up there in, he's in Tishmingo County up there close to, I think, Lake J.P. Coleman, north side there, close to Pickwick Lake, kind of monitoring this event. And this is one of the graphs we talked about kind of during our longer chat here. Again, we've been live for quite a while with this. And you can see the graph here. And unfortunately, I have to move this to where you can see it a little better. But really still kind of at its peak. Let me hit refresh on this, make sure we've got the absolute latest data. This is a kind of a 30-minute plot here. And so it kind of breaks down the index that we're looking at every 30 minutes on basically how charged the atmosphere is and the likelihood of us seeing active solar weather. And in particular, this is because the solar wind is carrying this toward us, the likelihood of seeing an aurora. And so when this is very high, clearly that is a high likelihood. And that's where we still find ourselves in a pretty high category as far as that is concerned. But what is an aurora, and what are the northern lights, and how's that work into what we're dealing with here? So again, this is a graphic meant to kind of try to explain that. So there is something going on all the time called the solar wind, and it is particles that are flowing from the sun, energy that we feel to a certain extent, with particles that are emitted from the sun that travel through space. Now, most of those, honestly, are directed around us because of the Earth's magnetic shield, and that the particles tend to follow those lines of those magnetic field lines. When we get into a situation where we have the northern lights showing up, we have an aurora, is when we get a strong ejection of the corona of the sun toward us. And so massive amounts of particles work their way toward us from the sun. And so on occasion, those particles are more charged and more plentiful than normal. And that's where we are with this. We had a little more than a day ago, an ejection of those particles toward us. And so when we get the northern lights to form is when those particles tend to follow those field lines in from the poles and down toward us. And so that can then allow those charged particles to reach the poles along the magnetic field of the Earth. And so when that happens is when we end up seeing those particles colliding with molecules in the atmosphere, nitrogen and oxygen in particular. And so when they hit those molecules, they excite those molecules. And that's when we start getting the colors for the aurora or the northern lights that we've been seeing this evening. The colors in particular we've seen have primarily been your reds and your greens. And that then comes back to the oxygen molecules that have been excited from this. And so different molecules emit different colors. The majority of our atmosphere made up of nitrogen and oxygen. Thus, the colors we're most likely to see are going to end up being your reds, your greens, your blues, and your kind of purple sort of colors there. Nitrogen being the most plentiful, but oxygen, and when we start talking about some of those higher level ozone layer, for example, oxygen molecules part of that there, even though it's O3. Either way, point being, the oxygen molecules are the ones that gives us the red and the greens, and those have primarily been the colors that we have seen as we've gone into and through this evening here. And so, again, as we've also mentioned from time on numerous occasions, again, the colors, and the movement have to do with, again, the interaction of the particles and the magnetic field of the Earth. And so as the dancing look we get is those particles, again, working along the field lines as they're kind of working their way down toward the poles. And then if there's enough of them spreading beyond the poles, up in the ionosphere, which is one of the higher levels of the atmosphere. And so you get those cool shapes depending on the position of the Earth's magnetic field at the time at which it's hitting them. So that's where we get the northern lights and how that figures into here. Anyway, appreciate all of you for the many photographs that you have shared and do continue to share. It is certainly something hopefully we've been able to kind of feature some of those, and certainly we'll try to feature more of those as we go into tonight. And certainly we have a pretty good gallery going on Facebook already as well. As far as the weather is concerned, again, let's get back to actual weather here for a moment. It's kind of a chilly evening out there. showing temperatures right now in the mid 40s to low 40s, though we still show 49 actually in Columbus, easily our warmest spot there. 45 Iuka, Red Bay coming in 45, 44 for Boonville, and 43 degrees in Oxford. So kind of maintaining a little bit more mild temperatures than last night. That was anticipated, but we sit almost 20 degrees warmer in most spots than last night, with Senatobia, the big winner up there where Maggie is, 27 degrees warmer than last night at this moment. So a lot milder. Some southerly winds kind of helping to set the stage for that. And in Mississippi Live Doppler radar, there's no precipitation out there, though we have had just the littlest bit of cloud cover. You can see on this loop here, those are those kind of thin clouds that we were tracking that we talked about, that was showing up in some of those pictures there coming at us from the north and west. High pressure is largely a story, and thankfully has kept us clear and allowed us to see the beautiful shots of the aurora this evening. We are watching a front back to the north and west. That will eventually move into the area, but we're not expecting any precipitation with that, and really not a ton of cloud cover with that as well. It's coming a little closer here on that. And you'll note that, again, most of the overnight period, we keep it clear. So if we are to see these waves, these additional substorms, where we do end up seeing the aurora kind of form once again, or at least become more visible, more vibrant, at least we're going to keep it fairly clear overnight, and that will certainly help us out. High pressure, the story, again, settling into the region, but we're starting to see more, again, those southerly winds for tomorrow, and that means one thing in particular. That means warmer air. I shouldn't say one thing, it means two things. That means warmer air, that also means slightly more moist air. And so I think that could probably lead to a more patchy fog, I think, by early Thursday morning, but for tomorrow, it pumps the temperatures up somewhat. And I think we'll be working our way into not just the 70s, maybe some mid 70s to upper 70s in the extended forecast here. So as we look over the course of the next 24, you'll definitely note here that that is going to continue to have our temperatures in the relatively mild category tomorrow, warmer than today, 65 at noontime tomorrow. We're 67 at 3 p.m. Well, we're going to the 50s by tomorrow evening. That is obviously more mild than we were even this evening, as we're working warmer and warmer day by day looking forward. Okay, our meteorologist Gabe Maynor and I will be breaking down a little bit more on that extended forecast here in a couple minutes. We'll look at a few more of your weather photographs. And we'll also break down everything you need to know related to obviously this warming trend and what this means for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week. We actually know the winner of our Game of the Week and where we're going to be Friday for our Mississippi Live Game of the Week presented by Langston and Lott and Casey Lott. That's coming up here from the Room to Room Weather Center in 60 seconds as Mississippi Live Weather continues.
I know you're going through a lot. I wonder if you know that we can get help. Let's see how far we can go. Love, your mind.
I felt accomplished after I got my diploma. Made me feel that I could take on whatever challenges life throws at you.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
March 24th, 2023 was a normal Friday. We knew the weather was not good, but we needed to take shelter, and we didn't have shelter. My husband and almost 2-year-old daughter, Ethan and Riley, they did lose their lives in the storm. We're still recovering from it. We'll always be recovering from it. Matt Lopon cares about the community. He's not just there to collect a paycheck. I feel like Matt Lopon has proven himself trustworthy.
Right now, from the Room to Room Weather Center, here's Mississippi's Chief Meteorologist, Matt Lopon.
Well, Elizabeth sending us this shot. Again, Northern Lights, the big weather story of this evening as we are continuing to get some of those pictures in of some of the brighter ones earlier on. Appreciate Elizabeth with that shot sent in just a little bit ago. Looks like I hit refresh on that. So let's get 24 hours. And again, one of the cool things is that you guys have sent in weather pictures, not just from here, but all across the United States. So most of the shots have been here from North Mississippi, but I got to show, I guess, one. Well, the location that it was sent in from, at least, is all the way up here in Wyoming, which is interesting. But most of them have been here across the southeast and really all across North Mississippi and North Alabama, where those pictures are coming in. One of the spots, though, where we have over and over again had kind of a good shot of this has been down in the Macon area. Our meteorologist Gabe Maynor here, bringing him in to kind of talk about what we're looking at. Unfortunately, it does not look like that shot there in Macon has a whole lot of red showing up on that here at this point in time. I think a lot of those cameras starting to show less and less of that, unfortunately, Gabe.
And that's what Adrian's been talking about, kind of the diminishing trend of our northern light phenomena this evening. Been tracking it since about 6:30, 7 o'clock, somewhere in that time frame, right?
Between 6:30 and 7, yeah.
That's longer than our big event last year. So the fact that we had that, we need to definitely look at this as a glass half full type scenario. And if you didn't go outside in that 3.5 hours, then you're just out of luck at this point. But we're definitely on a downward trend, and that's the unfortunate part about it, but all good things must come to an end. I will say, still probably getting a little bit of a visual depending on how much exposure those cameras do have. And if you let it sit there, I think we saw a 10-minute exposure earlier, really amplified those colors. Wouldn't be an impossibility to continue to see that even on the lower end of our northern light spectrum.
I was going to say, the only place I'm kind of seeing, and I'm going to have to kind of cut over here to find it, I think Pontotoc, which again we had on the longest exposure, still has a little bit showing up. Hold on,
yeah,
that's the old image.
Oh,
so we'll give that a second. I know. Give it a second here. There's still a little bit there, maybe just the littlest bit in Mabon. And again, this is on a very long exposure, so it's going to take it a moment to get back going about now. Okay, so you can still see a little bit of red there at the top of the screen kind of showing up, but not nearly what we had at its peak, right?
We'll take it though. Not complaining one bit, because rarely do we get an event like what we've had tonight, and the fact that it's still going on somewhat at 10:17, hey, not complaining.
Yep, absolutely. So take it away on the forecast.
Well, forecast side of things, do you want me to talk about game of the week? I haven't pulled up, or do you want to take that over?
Oh, we can do that. Okay, hold on a second. Let's I'll send it. I'll pull up game of the week. I'm going to pop your audio back up. Give me a moment here. Nope, my behind the scenes didn't work, so I'm going to send it to you for game of the week, assuming it will go that way.
Sweet. Well, just need a drum roll from you for a game of the week.
Drum roll. Okay, ready? 3, 2, is that the right one? And go.
There we go. Your winner for our Mississippi Live Weather Game of the Week for our playoff edition is going to be Okolona traveling to Faulkner. Going to be a good one between those two teams over there in Faulkner. 57% of the vote, so there's a pretty overwhelming majority voting for that matchup. That was 1,137 votes. Kemper County versus Water Valley, 318 votes. And then if we look at West Lowndes and Biggersville, trying to get a little bit of a comeback, but unfortunately came up just short at 559 votes. So Okolona, Faulkner, need a favor from you guys, need those Spirit Squad submissions, and we do need those marching band pictures so we can go ahead and have those votes going for Wednesday and Thursday and, of course, Friday leading into the big game. This is going to be some playoff action between two teams that feel like they deserve to go to the next round. So excited to be out there with you guys. Haven't been to either of these teams, haven't been to Faulkner so far this season, so very grateful that we get to go out to meet a few more folks that we may not have seen all season long. So come up there, say hey to us, snap a couple pictures, and of course, go vote for your respective team to see who comes out on top in this head-to-head matchup. We say it every week. The head-to-head matchup does not start 7 p.m. on Friday. No, it starts Wednesday with the marching band and Spirit Squad vote. So thank you to everyone for voting, and we're excited to be up there in Faulkner this Friday night. So Matt, I know that it's going to be a cooler evening heading into our Friday, but we'll have a full breakdown on that forecast actually coming up right now. But are you excited to head to Faulkner?
I'm really excited to go to Faulkner. It's been a few years since I've been up that direction, so I'm really excited to go that part of Tippah County. It was a place where toward the end of the TV station we weren't covering quite as often. So I'm really excited to be able to get back up there and see all those folks here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one.
I'll take care of the first graphic, and I'm gonna hand the rest of this weather show over to you. Does that sound good?
Sounds good. I'll make my way over.
Okay, that'll work. Okay, so let's get this launched and going. My little switcher here behind the scenes, I'll hit the button and it doesn't want to go, but it went that time. So we'll be ready to talk to Gabe here in just a second. But yeah, clear skies and mid-40s out there in the Winona area right now on this beautiful evening. Good evening to y'all there in Montgomery County hopefully are doing all right. Again, those 40s out there for temperatures. That's above, a lot above where we were last night at this time. And it's not just us, it's really across the entire region where we have, again, those lower to middle 40s out there. And Gabe, I think it unfortunately, it killed off all of our plants with the last two killing freezes.
Had to bring it up.
But the thing is, it's way deep down in Florida, too. That's the funny thing. Like, practically Orlando's in freeze warning. So at least we're not alone. And in our cases, it didn't kill agricultural, crops. At least not ones that we didn't expect, right?
Well, and not ones that haven't needed to be harvested over the past few weeks. So we know this harvest season's happening right now. Farmers have been through the ringer this year when it comes to weather and crops. So probably ready to weather the weather literally away as they harvest those crops. But yeah, frosty, frozen conditions to start off this week, trending in the right direction. But yes, Matt mentioned it, and I've experienced it. Any of those crops that you did have outside that you were hopeful to produce a couple of tomatoes, did not produce it and died in the process. Went out there earlier this morning just watering it in hopes of it was the magic seed, and it just brought it back, but it did not. And I see those tomatoes just looking at me thinking, you know what, Gabe, we're so close. But next year, I promise I'll have some tomatoes, send you guys pictures, and it'll be a whole big kumbaya happy day. But yeah, unfortunate right now. Oh, hurts my heart. All right, temperatures across the region, like we mentioned, definitely cool, but those feels like values dropping at a few degrees with those wind chill values. Out there in Georgia, we're talking well into that freezing and some below freezing areas. I mean, the fact that Tallahassee feels colder than Fayetteville, Arkansas, yeah, that doesn't happen too often, and that happens with a significant cold front. Still feeling the effects over there in Florida. That's why those freeze warnings are still in place, but we expect ours to be lifted as we get into those overnight forecasts. Our Mississippi Live weather radar keeps things dry. That slight bit of cloud cover moving through the region, that even clearing out overnight. So if there were to be a resurgence in our geomagnetic storm, then the potential to see some more clear conditions will be in the process as well. So keep an eye on that, and we'll of course keep you updated here at Mississippi Live Weather. Looking at that satellite imagery closer to home, of course, you do see those clear conditions across the region, and that'll continue to clear out overnight before more cloud cover moves in later on this week. So our Mississippi Live weather day planner overnight stays calm, stays clear, and stays cool. 39 degrees by midnight and 37 heading out the door tomorrow morning. Hey, not below freezing, not the low 20s. No complaints about that forecast, but still layer up as you head out the door will be a necessity for that morning commute. Our futurecast carries on in those dry conditions across the region, getting into our early AM hours on our Wednesday. But you see those winds coming out of the south, the southwesterly direction, and that's going to provide some moisture and some warmer air to our area and allow things to feel so much better in that extended forecast. Wednesday morning, that morning commute staying on the drier side once again, but it is going to be a little bit breezy, 5 to 10 miles an hour, and that's the main thing with our weather pattern that we need to know. And of course, layer up. 38 degrees Tupelo, 37 Red Bay, 36 Vernon and Aliceville. We jump out west, slightly warmer with 45 showing up in Cleveland, 44 in Clarksdale, and 41 around Tunica. Wouldn't be surprised if northwest Alabama did have some frosty conditions to start, as you do see Hamilton right above that freezing threshold. So yeah, if you do have some crops that somehow survived the last couple of days and you live in northwest Alabama, probably not going to make it past tomorrow. Pick up 40 degrees for that bus stop forecast and 67 there by drop-off. Sunshine should be seen all day long, so it'll be a great forecast to get outside if you can handle some of those cold temperatures. Expanded things out here on our futurecast, you can definitely see that we do have a cold front starting to move into the region. Let's watch how this progresses through North Mississippi into our Wednesday morning. You can see 9 a.m. already into Jonesboro, and then by noontime we're talking Memphis, so inching closer and closer. But this cold front, more of, I played basketball growing up, so we're going to call it a pump fake, because it's not exactly doing anything here on the ground, no change in the atmosphere. Primary thing that we'll see is a slight wind shift, but even that's talking southwest to westerly winds, so not really any change in our weather pattern, and we do stay dry at least, so no rainfall expected with this frontal boundary. We stay dry and for the most part on the clearer side with some patchy cloud cover moving through the region. That continues to be the case into our Wednesday evening, so midweek services looking good to go, along with those warmer temperatures. 66 New Albany, 68 Water Valley, 71 around Greenwood. We're jumping up to 69 in Starkville, 65 in Hamilton, and 65 around Iuka. Let's keep that futurecast going and of course staying with those dry conditions once again. That cold front all the way out into the Atlantic and very little change change and very little moisture will be associated with it. So not seeing really any major impacts across the southeast. High pressure builds back into the area, keeps our forecast dry for our Thursday. So don't need to worry about any rainfall for our Thursday either. Now this is our HRRR model, our HRRR model, when the model we used at 5 and 6 was the strike model. So how do these two compare? Well, as we jump back in here to North Mississippi, we can see high pressure right over the top of us. That lines up well with our strike model. But getting into the rest of our Thursday, it does have cloud cover building, potential for some patchy fog as well. But what it doesn't have is any rainfall. We stay on the drier side even into that afternoon forecast as cloud cover does build, but we're not expecting any moisture in the form of some raindrops. So don't need to worry about that rain gear as we get into our Thursday forecast. We stay dry even with that cloud cover building into the region, even into Thursday evening for any of those evening plans we may have. High temperatures continue to climb. That gradual warming trend not ending there. We're talking low to mid 70s across North Mississippi. So get out there, enjoy it, especially for our Thursday as those above average temperatures remain in place. Looking at those temperature trends, low temperatures, I mean, we are climbing the roller coaster for sure. 22 degrees today, jumps to 37 Wednesday, jumps to 43 by Thursday, well into the 50s by the weekend, and that's where we'll sit above average heading into the start of next week as well. High temperatures follow that same trend as you see right here. We'll climb gradually into the weekend, well into the mid 70s. So above average temperatures continue to remain in place for our afternoon highs. And those temperatures linger in the forecast into Monday and Tuesday. That slight dip is a result of some rainfall pushing back into the forecast as you see right here. 20% there by Sunday, 20% Monday, and 30% by Tuesday. Now these percentages will fluctuate over the next several days as models get more aligned on when that frontal boundary will push on through. But as of right now, we expect it to move in Monday evening into Tuesday, and that's why those rain chances are a little bit higher. But it could be higher because that frontal boundary pushing through overnight, not exactly going to be during that peak time frame where we're out and about. So that's why it's only 20 and 30. If it were to push a little bit earlier or later, that ups that 20 or it could up that 30. That's something we're paying attention to in that extended forecast. So keep it here for the very latest, but this has been an action-packed edition, as action-packed as a dry day can be here in North Mississippi. And I want to extend a big thank you to everyone here in North Mississippi for your Weather Watcher pictures and just keeping us informed across the region about, what you guys have been seeing. This is an anomaly, not something we see that often, and so I'm glad you guys got to go out and enjoy it and showcase all of those pictures to us here at Mississippi Live Weather. We weren't able to go out and experience it for ourselves, so we experienced it through you guys, and you guys did a masterful job in doing that. So I hope you guys have a fantastic evening. Get out there and try to see what's left of the Northern Lights. Remember, high exposure on those cameras, and go ahead and submit those pictures here to Mississippi Live Weather. Matt, I see behind the scenes you're up and around. Do you want to have anything to say? Okay, sweet. All right, well, we have talked, I think, enough about the Northern Lights that one can. So go out there and see it. There we go. Okay, so our next live show happening at 6:37 and 7:30 with meteorologist Maggie McCauley. She will showcase a few more of those pictures of the Northern Lights that you guys captured this evening or maybe even overnight. But we'll be back here at 5, 6, and 10 for the very latest on your weather here in Mississippi. Here in North Mississippi, we'll keep you guys updated and track those latest on those rain chances early next week. We'll track the latest coming up on Mississippi Live Weather through your Wednesday.
We come from a long line of farmers, and there's a sense of pride, but there's also a significant amount of pressure.
Farmers have to take care of their physical and their mental health, because what's a farm without a farmer?
Watching the sun come up, that's my time. I can have a cup of coffee, and every day is a new opportunity.
That's cool.
Yay!
Don't forget to check in on yourself. Love your mind.